Excellent. Here comes then. In 3, 2, 1.
Action! Reload! Danger! New record!
Greetings and welcome to Core, where we talk about video games, not just the games we play, but what the industry's doing, big news of the week, and other stuff. My name is Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. We're glad to be back, everybody, and hope you're all well. We're going to dive in here in a second, but if you want to be, listen, I know I say this all the time about our Patreon. It's a pretty cool thing, and it's great that you guys support us, and it helps keep the show on the air, blah, 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 blah. But, man, we go pretty deep into some pretty great stuff that isn't necessarily games related. So if you want to hear us talk about a little more about the Halo TV show today, but also about things like Harley Quinn and why Scott needs to catch up on Better Call Saul, and or which of the Hannibal movies are the good ones, this sort of stuff. You'll find that all on our pre-show, which we include every week for our patrons. Nobody else gets it but them. Well, and some of these chat people, they get them. But anyway, if you want that, go check it out. Patreon.com/core show. All right, that's going to do it for that. Let's do this.
I thought you were going to say for the show.
That's it for the show. We're done. We're out of here. No, we're not.
It's an advertisement now.
Yeah.
We should do a 3-minute show one of these days just for fun.
Just a short one. Okay. Long, like a big long pre-show and then barely any real show. That'd be fun. I like that a lot. All right. If you're not familiar with the name Iron Oak Games, and you probably should be because they make a really cool IP. They made a game called For the King, which the three of us actually played together. I played a ton alone as well. It's a very fun kind of turn-based D&D sort of grid-like thing that I think is a pretty unique game. It's a pretty fun little indie game. And For the King 2 was announced today. Ooh. So we're pretty excited about this, right? We'll play this, won't we? We'll get into this.
Super stoked. This game, this is one of the best games, most fun games. I love this game. And
it's great. It's
I'm
a great
over
game.
the moon that they're doing another one. Like it looks like they're just taking everything and making it more graphics. Like look better. I'm sure more gameplay. The original had a lot of game modes. Just seeing the images that they've shown and the trailer, I'm really excited for this.
It's interesting. The character art is not that blocky style anymore, which it was,
not quite as blocky.
Not quite as, but it's retained still the kind of the tone of it. Looks, like if I saw this, I'd go, oh, that reminds me of Return of the King. Like this is pretty, not Return of the King, For the King. But it looks great. Also, even the grid looks cool. I'm all excited about this. When's this? 2023.
Yeah, probably not for a while, but I'm just so stoked. And it's it's multiplayer, and it's actually, for as cute as it looks, it's one of the more brutal. These roguelites let you die, let you start over with some advantages.
Mm-hmm.
They're really just holding your hand. This game is like, you're dead, you start over. It's true, not rogue-like. It's just a rogue-style game.
Yeah.
In that you can progress even towards the end of the game and just die and then have nothing to carry over. There are unlocks. You do unlock things for your board.
Yeah.
But they're, different, more items in the item pool and cosmetics and more spaces to encounter. There's nothing in the realm of making you more powerful so that next time your run is easier, which is what I like about it.
Yeah.
And like the original, which you can play right now, it's like $6 on Steam.
Oh, it's so cheap. I think it's on Game Pass as well, so no excuse not to play it.
It's fantastic game. I recommend buying it because you have unlocks, and who knows when it'll go off Game Pass. And I want them to have all the money they can to develop for the King too. So don't play it on Game Pass. Buy it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's only, like I said, it's on sale today, so $6 well spent.
Yep.
We get asked a lot, like, because we play D&D together, as well as do this show. What games are the most like playing D&D? Like, what are the best D&D style games that you can play?
Yeah.
And I have a tendency to say, you should play. Oh my gosh, I just forgot every
Divinity.
game. A Wildermyth is great for the simulation of like the randomness of a story and feeling like you're customizing your own tale. I feel like I'm trying to remember the one. Divinity Original Sin 2 is really great for kind of that tactical combat especially multiplayer with friends that you can do. That one's fantastic.
So
This one,
5e as well.
us playing For the King
Mhm.
was probably the closest I ever felt to like, this is the fun of just being with friends powering through a dungeon together.
Yeah.
In like just having a good time. A lot of the eccentricities about D&D style combat out the window, a lot of the storytelling tropes out the window. This is what it's like to just do a dungeon run with friends, and it's really, really good at that.
Yeah.
So I'm all for more of this, and like Bo said, checking out the original if you haven't. Like, it's a very cool game.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there where you're required to be very cooperative about it. For example, moving around the overworld, if you get too far from each other, that's bad, because if two of you encounter combat and the third guy is out of range of that, there's like a range where you need to be in, you'll not have him to help. It'll just be two of you against whatever you have to fight, which can be dangerous and bad. So there's just enough coordination. There's just enough sort of, ooh, look what dropped. Who wants what? How are we going to split this up? Like, there's some of those aspects to this that other games don't nail quite as well. I thought they've just done a really good job of that. And, they've simplified systems where they need to be, but kept things complex in other ways. It's very approachable, both sort of visually and tonally, but also just gameplay wise. And I don't know. It's an awesome game, and I'm happy to hear it's going to be a series. So do check it out. Available next year, probably. It was in open or early access forever, so I hope they don't do that with this one. Hopefully they got some more money they can, I think they did well, so they should be able to crank that out.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's very good. I have it on the Switch. It's good on there too. Plays great everywhere. The Twisted Metal TV show is still coming. Oh, I skipped one, but I'll come back to it. Twisted Metal. How do we feel about Twisted Metal? Boy, John, you think you're worried about Halo TV. How do you feel about TV show based on a car combat game?
Well, it's not the only one, because also today they announced a Horizon Zero Dawn TV show.
Oh yeah,
is also getting made. So we're getting that.
Nev Campbell's in this. Does that
I
help?
do like Nev Campbell.
Yeah.
As a big fan of the Scream series, I like Nev Campbell a lot. I think she seems like a pretty awesome person, and I like the stuff she's been in. So that probably makes me more excited than the concept of a Twisted Metal show. I don't know. You could see it being like kind of a cool, bombastic thing. It just sort of depends what they do with it. Are they going to make it a cool action show involving cars shooting at each other and blowing stuff up? Or are we going to try and get into the pathos of Sweet Tooth the Clown and watch him have sex with a pie or something? Like, we don't need that necessarily. But it just depends which direction they decide to go.
You're subtweeting the Halo show.
Yes.
Oh no, I just picked a random event. I was like, yeah. You probably.
I'm sure that was all that was.
A pie or two.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was unrelated.
Totally unrelated. So who else is in this? We got Anthony Mackie. So your Falcon is in there.
Really?
Yep. He's in the lead role of John Doe. That's the character you played when you were in the game. As well as Thomas Hayden Church as Agent Stone. And Stephanie Beatrice as a yet unnamed car thief.
Well, all people who haven't had acting gigs in a while, except for Mackie, who's like, what am I doing here?
I think Thomas Hayden Church he's been doing
Encanto was one of the biggest movies for Disney a long time, and that's got Stephanie Beatrice in it. So
that's true.
I don't think that's fair.
Thomas Hayden Church is always in something. He's got 20 million things in the works. He's been in a bunch of
he was in
TV.
No Way Home, I think.
Yeah, he's great. There's nothing wrong with him.
Well, sort of. His likeness and voice, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did use his voice.
He couldn't show up for it, so they just made him Sand.
He was busy doing the Twisted Metal TV show. He's like, nah, skip Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to just be Sand for this one.
Yeah. He took
right,
his big thing that was like a big moment in his career was when he was in Sideways. I always liked
that wine movie, right?
Yeah, the wine movie. That was just a big...
Oh, that movie was good.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's very good. But prior to that and after that, plenty of stuff. I mean, I used to watch Wings. I loved his role on Wings. He played Lowell on there. He was great.
He's lots of stuff, but like, I'm looking at his
Tombstone.
IMDb.
Yeah.
Okay, so You know, he was in Hellboy as
Yeah.
Lobster Johnson in
Yeah.
2019,
Yeah.
and he was in the Peanut Butter Falcon in 2019.
No, that was a big.
And
That was a big movie, a big indie movie. People love that movie.
yeah, and he was in a show called Divorce.
Yeah.
In one movie called The 24th in 2022, and then in 2021 he was in Spider-Man: No Way Home, and that's it. That's all he did in 2021.
Yeah. And
And
now
he wasn't really in it,
Yep.
so he hasn't. You know, I'm sure he's been working and stuff. I'm not saying he's not working or anything. It's just, you know, it's like, look, why is there a Twisted Metal TV show?
now you sound like John. Okay.
Like why?
What
So it
if-
feels to me like anyone attached to this project is floundering career-wise in the acting scale. And they're like, I got to take a gig, guys. It's you know, let's go.
Maybe, but
It's
what if
just
it's good?
It's the narrative in my head. I'm like, why would you want to be a part of? It's a great video game IP. It seems like an absolutely shit dramatic IP for, you know, TV's movies. I don't know what they're gonna like. I guess Mad Max is popular, like cars chasing and crash, you know, Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
I can see where they're going with it, but I don't know. Twisted Metal. Maybe I just don't respect
I
Twisted
feel like
Metal.
Bo just slowly got to where I got, which was
Yeah.
my initial reaction when you started reading it was like, why are we talking about this? Let's talk about the Horizon movie. Who cares about Twisted Metal? And then I thought, well, you got Fast and the Furious, which is like one of the
Yeah.
biggest properties in the world. You
Yeah.
got Mad Max.
Yeah.
You've got all
Told you.
those people that just love
Death
balls
Race.
to the wall action movies
Sure.
where it's just like everything just exploded and it was good. You know, you just got all that, and it could be a recipe for exactly that, and it could be awesome as a result. That doesn't mean it will.
Yeah.
I have my doubts, but
Jinden in the chat says
Certainly
he'd
could
prefer
be.
a video game, a new game, and they're doing that too. This is separate from that, but there is a new game being developed. That was leaked some months ago.
Oh,
so,
is there? Okay, because
yeah.
when I put this in, I wasn't sure if there was. I'm like, why is there a TV show and no video
Yeah,
game?
I think they're getting ready to kind of have it all happen at once or close to each other. But I don't think Sony's done like an official reveal, but it got leaked somewhere that some team's working on it at Sony, one of the Sony studios. I loved Twisted Metal. I have nothing but fond feelings for my time with those games. Twisted Metal Black in particular just freaking sucked my life away when that was out. I even installed it on my PS5 and it runs. It's pretty aged now, but you know, I would like a new video game, but if they're going to make a show, I'll be happy to see how it goes. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, sure, it sounds like maybe a bad idea, but I don't think it's any worse of an idea than doing Halo, and I really like that show, and I don't think it's any worse than this announcement to do Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever they're going to call it. You know, that's another one where I'm like, well, you already kind of made an interactive movie. Do you really need to make an actual TV show or movie out of it? Maybe it'd be great. I don't know.
With the kind of actors they got, these aren't names that you would associate with like an action film franchise,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So when you hire these actors, I'm like, oh, we're going to have scenes.
Yeah.
There are going to be scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
You know,
They'll be
like, I would
talking.
argue Mad Max is a movie that like doesn't really have scenes. It's just like, okay, it'd be cool if the cars went here, and it'd be cool if the cars went there.
Oh, there's
and it'd be
scenes.
Cool
They're
if
just
Mad
not-
Max is
yeah.
over there. Like, I know you can call them scenes, but I mean, like, you know, two people are in a room. Let's put some cameras over the shoulder of both of them. We'll have an establishing shot, and there we go.
Yeah.
Let's go for lunch.
You're right. You got like two of those in that movie. You're right.
Yeah, so this is going to be like, I'm Thomas Hayden Church, and I'm angry about the state of the world, so I will drive my car through other cars. And Neve Campbell will be like, no, you won't, girlfriend. I'm not going to allow you to do that. I'm going to get in my car and show you how real Twisted Metal happens. And you're just like, okay, I don't want to watch this.
And John or Anthony Mackie's like, I'm in the MCU, bitch, and flies over all of them.
I'm the new Captain America.
like, wrong lines.
Shoot
We
you
know
with
you-
my car.
Yeah.
We know you're proud of your role in Captain America, but don't use the lines from Captain America. Use the lines we gave you, please. It's like, I like these lines better.
I mean, I look, I'm gonna open mind on this one. I'm not sure of anything at this point. I just
It
know
might be great. Who the hell knows?
we used to say this about comics, by the way. We used to say that you can't make good movies based on comic books or TV shows based on comic books, that it's not actually possible. We've proved that so wrong in the last 10 and 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we're there yet, but I do think there's a day coming where we can do justice to these IPs And ironically, I actually think the Halo show is a step in that direction. But there's a lot more to do, and if you're going to take something as silly as this, Twisted Metal's a really weird premise for your TV show. I'll tell you what, it needs to be really violent, over the top violent.
You know what I want? I want Battle Royale with murder cars.
Yeah, but that's basically the game, so why not?
Yeah. And that's what I want. You're each going to get in a car. Last one standing wins $1 million, and we don't execute your children. Or
Squid
something.
Game, yeah, or a million other of those games.
Yeah,
it's like movies.
It's
TV.
one of those, and it's just dumb and it's actiony. I think this is a better concept for a video game. I think this is a better video game to apply to a TV show than Horizon. And I didn't think that before this conversation started, but Horizon feels like it needs to be something very specific. And I think Halo is a good example because it's a good example of how you can take a property and have people too tied to what that property is and not have the freedom to make something good. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit what a Twisted Metal movie is, except that it's dumb and good. Like, what a low bar you have to clear for that. People have expectations for Horizon. You know what people want from Twisted Metal? Cars that shoot at each other. Yeah, that's it.
It's a TV show, right? So it's going to have filler. It's going to have filler. It's not a movie. It's a TV show.
Well, it'll have to have some filler, but I mean, what if that's the big groundbreaking thing, Bo? That it's mostly action every week. What if it's like Mad Max in that sense, but they just every week is insane action, and we just fall in love with it? It's possible. It's possible. You sound really unconvinced.
It needs to be like Lost, where you get a quick little flashback, just enough to kind of care when the character blows up at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I like her.
The movie is just action, but then when someone's about to die, it shows their entire life history.
Yeah, so here's the format of an episode. You start the moments before the person blows up or explodes or whatever, something big happens to them, unless it's the main character, then they're going to survive, right? So you start there and they're just doing the as they're driving, and then it does the and then it cuts to them in an office and they're like, I'm sorry, you have 18 different types of cancer. Yeah. They're like, but my dog, who's going to feed my dog? And they're like, we don't know. And you're like, he's like, I got to get money. I got to get money for this surgery. And then a wormy guy comes out with a hat and is like, have you heard of Twisted Metal? And he's like, what? And then then they're like, we're going to give you a car, but it's not going to be a normal car. No, we're going to weld your arms to 2 giant wheels and you're going to have to roll around going, constantly.
What was that guy's name?
You get that, and then it catches up to where it began, and then he blows up, and right before he dies, he's like, this is for my dogs. And then he blows up, and you're like, yeah, I remember the dogs. That was from 30 minutes ago. This is good.
Yeah. You've written the show. That's
done. The show.
Yeah, you've done a good job. That guy's name was Axel. I used to love Axel. Axel was great. Played him all the time. I also like playing the cop. I don't remember his name. I did play.
Is that
Sweet
real
Tooth.
Axel lore?
Axel, I don't think it's the real lore.
I made that up. No.
But I love it. I want it to be, if you're asking that.
This is for my dogs.
I don't know, just whatever. Make it loud and weird. All I know is I'm a little giddy right now because I didn't know George Miller had another movie ready to launch. I had no idea about this 3,000 Years of Longing movie. Came out of nowhere, and that trailer is the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
now it's a good-looking trailer, Scott, but it isn't a Mad Max movie.
It's okay.
So it could be a little movie of someone longing.
I have never seen a George Miller movie that I didn't love, and that includes Babe and Babe Pig in the City. Those are great movies, legitimately good movies. They're not Mad Max, and that's okay. Ironically, I think his worst movie is the first Mad Max movie. I just don't think it holds up, but everything else has something to love about it. And I love everything. Whatever, until he's dead, he's my guy where I will freak out and get excited. Junkie XL's doing the soundtrack again for it, for this and the new Furiosa movie, so he's just going to stick around for all of it. Anyway, it looks great. I don't know what's going on. Can't tell. Looks insane.
He sat there, and he was like, that'll do, pig. And he patted Babe on the head, and he was like, I'm off to go show people how action movies should be made.
Yeah.
And then he made Mad Max Fury Road, and he did. He showed people how they should be made.
First he
and
made,
now that's done.
First
and
he
then
made
was
Happy
like,
Feet. He made Happy Feet first.
Well, I can't do the that'll do pig joke if I do Happy Feet. Like, that'll do
Just
penguin.
ignore
Stop
Happy Feet
dancing.
and Happy Feet 2. Pretend they didn't exist.
So so now he did that. He's like, okay, here's what an action movie should be. And now he's like, now I'm going to show him what a romantic comedy movie should look like. And now that's what he's off doing.
Oh, I guarantee you this ain't a romantic comedy. Watch that trailer if you haven't seen it.
I did watch it.
Holy
and I will
shit.
bet you money it's going to end up being a romantic
You think
comedy.
Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton are your romantic couple in that movie? Do you think?
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
they're not.
It's a romantic comedy.
While you're waiting for that, you should go see Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, I do want to see that.
I do want to see that as well.
Yeah,
It's actually really good.
I really
That's
wanna
your
see
good
it.
movie from not George Miller.
Not George Miller.
I just,
Sounds like
okay,
an
the
Oscars
last thing I would
category.
say, this is George
It's
Miller.
a George Miller level movie, but like not George Miller, I guess is what
It's
I would put it.
totally fine. Look, I do want to see it. I'm pretty excited about it. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
This is all I'll say about Mad Max and stuff, but this is why I have optimism about things that I used to be more skeptical about. And it's this reason. When I first heard Mad Max was coming, Fury Road, and they were rebooting the series, and then George Miller was coming out of semi-retirement to make it and all this sort of thing, I remember at the time going, whatever, dude. It's not going to work. Won't be the same. No one's in the cat. You know, there's no Mel Gibson. There's no whatever I had in my head. How is this going to possibly be good? And it blew my effing mind and became my favorite movie of the last 25 years. I freaking love that movie. And I watch it all the time. I saw it last week again because I love it. I have it in the background quite often. I just love it that much. So it's not a surprise to anybody who listens to me. However, I remember at the time saying to people, I'll bet this movie not only gets the most nominations at that year's Oscars, I'll bet it also gets a nomination for Best Picture. Nobody believed me. Everybody said, whatever, dude, that'll never happen. It's never going to happen. Sure as hell did. And not only that, they became that year's, and I think for some time, or maybe even still hold the record, the most nominations for any Oscar year ever for freaking Fury Road. So what I'm saying is we can be surprised sometimes. We can see things and go, man, they actually made a good... How did they make Fargo work on the small television for 4 seasons and with a 5th on its way? Why is that one of the greatest TV shows of all time when it really shouldn't have been? Sometimes people take shit and they make it better than it should have been, and maybe Twisted Metal will be way better than it should be, you know? I'm going to hold out a little bit. This is the only place I get to have optimism in the world anymore, is dumb stuff like this. I'm going to put all my excitement behind Twisted Metal, that they're going to nail it and it's going to work. So that's my stand, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
How you feel about that? You like that?
Not good.
I think that's
I
pretty
like
good.
I like your enthusiasm.
I was busy looking up the IMDb for 1,000 Years of Longing to see if, or 3,000 Years of
3,000
Longing
years,
to see if I could already prove myself right on its themes.
Yeah.
And right now it's listed for genres. Granted, comedy not on here, but drama, fantasy, romance.
Romance
I'm telling
with
you,
what
dude,
though?
It is a.
Yeah, but you could say
It's
Mad
with a
Max is.
genie.
You could say Mad Max has romance in it. You could say
No,
Nux,
I-
Nux
no,
and the redhead.
no,
Nux and the redhead
nobody
fall
would
in love.
No.
What do you mean?
It's not the crux of the movie. This will be the crux of the movie.
We've crossed over into the Badlands.
So you think that Idris Elba, a genie, a djinn, pops out of the bottle and goes, "I give you 3 wishes," and she says, "Blah, blah, blah," and they start doing the wishes, and it's all effed up.
Wait, is he a genie?
Yes, he's a genie
Yeah.
with pointy ears. You got to watch this trailer, Bo. Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, trailer was just like this, and I'm like, okay, that's a lot of stuff. I'll see it when it comes out. I didn't get any of that from the trailer.
And maybe
I assume you've watched it in frame by frame mode.
Oh yeah, about 20 times. And
That's why. So I didn't, but it looks good. But
chat room makes a point that the jinn are typically evil in lore. And so maybe there's some of that going on. At one point, Tilda Swinton in the trailer says, "I wish you never existed," and everything goes to shit when she says that. It just looks insane.
The tagline is, "What would you wish for?"
Yeah, Yeah, because he's a genie type deal.
Look, I'm just telling you, this is the way I'm calling it early. And, like John Hammond in Jurassic Park, when this movie comes out, I will accept your apology. It's going to be a romance movie.
Okay,
this one's going to have to get resolved, by the way, because
oh yeah, we will.
Scott really likes this, and like I know, look, this movie it looks sweet. I like George Miller. Now that I'm aware that it's about a genie, I'm like very much less interested in this movie. I'm like, a genie movie? Gosh dang it!
It's not like
Who
that
cares
though.
about the genies?
Yeah, but genies. That's the point. Is
sure
he
it's gonna
doesn't?
be
He's
great.
not just going to do a genie movie. That's not what this will be. This will be.
Yeah, it's a romance.
No, it's not going to be that either. Here's what you'll be. You'll be like that in Jurassic Park. I'll be Dr. Malcolm, whatever, at the end going, you are going to have romance in your romance movie. That's what I'm going to say. Because there isn't any. There won't be. They're not going to. You're never going to see Tilda Swinton and this freaking Jin, whatever, making out. It ain't happening.
Hang on. I have a picture, though.
Are they making out?
Hang on. I can't even... It won't let me download the picture of IMDb. It sucks so much. Here you go.
I always screen grab it there. I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so precious about photos on that site. It's stupid. Just let us have it. It's just people sharing shit.
So I'm looking at some... like, I guess my point isn't sharing these photos. They're in Discord. Okay. My point is in reviewing these photos, they do... If you told me these were from the set of a romantic comedy, I'd be like, oh yeah, I see that.
Really? Look at him. He's sitting there with his
Look
big pointy
They're hanging out
ears.
in bathrobes, and the director's explaining to them how this bedroom scene is going to go, and then they're sitting together. One's in the evening, one's in a sweater, the other's in a crew
The
cut long
movie is
sleeve.
called 3,000 Years of Longing. What do you think that means?
It doesn't mean what you think it means. And when we return to this, I'm going to have the last heartiest laugh of all time. I cannot wait.
I think she falls in love with a genie. She wishes that he would. It might be. Oh, hang on, that's the same picture. There's one more picture.
That's the same picture.
Look, see, there's a
That's
picture
the
of
weirdest
him.
thing.
See the way she's holding his cheek.
Yeah, because
That's That's a romantic whole. Like, there's no one I've touched in that way that wasn't like a family moment when someone's sad or is a romantic thing. Like, that's a romantic maneuver. Like, based on these three images, if these three images were just the movie, I'd agree with John and say this is going to be a romantic, maybe not comedy,
but you've cherry picked
romance
3 images out of. I don't know how long that
thing.
trailer is.
I know it could be completely wrong, but I'm just saying that it gives life to John's theory. That's all I'm saying. Like I don't know that I can dismiss I want to be like, yeah, it's gonna be the first 10 minutes are gonna be sissy romantic comedy, then it's gonna turn into Mad Max for 80 minutes. But I don't know. I don't know.
All I know is here's a screenshot. This doesn't look very romantic to me. There you go. That looks not romantic. That looks like
No,
a
Okay,
no,
well,
no.
yeah, sometimes there's not romantic stuff in romance movies. It happens.
Looks like a very nice lady who's painted gold running away from a giant spider while she's got bones growing out of her head. Like, I don't know what to make
Yeah,
any
I
of
mean,
this.
you got to put cool stuff in it. This is, like I said, this is him going, I'm going to make a romance movie right.
Yeah.
He's going to show us how it's done. And the way you do it is you put stuff in there for everybody, including giant weird spider things.
I guess we're going to have to wait and see. The important thing to remember is George Miller has never made a piece of crap.
Look,
And he
look. Let me say this. I am excited for this movie. It looks sweet, like 100%. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't to poop on the movie, but I'm just saying sometimes when you get super excited for having been burnt in the past, how could they get Duke Nukem wrong? It's some toxic masculine guy who's going to shoot some aliens. It's perfect, and it sucked.
Yeah, but
All
that's a
right?
game.
So,
That's a
like,
video game.
It happens. These things happen,
Yeah.
and there are some telltale signs of I don't know.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like, here's the most recent disappointment: The Matrix 4. Like, how could they? Like, I liked that movie, but at the same time, it was catastrophically disappointing as to what it was. You kind of got something different than what you were expecting.
Yeah, but you didn't
And
know
I
till you
can't
got
say
it.
that this, as much as I really liked the movie, I can't say that it was what I was hoping and wishing for. I don't think I'll be rewatching that movie in the future.
Right. But see, you didn't know any of that until it got here. And then you can make that judgment. And it's a good,
That's right.
You're right to make that judgment. So that's my whole thing. 100% with this is this movie might be, John might be totally right. And it's all just a bunch of freaking lovey-dovey bullcrap.
Yeah. So you're the right one of the three of us. We're just trying to rain on your parade. We're being evil people. You know? We're just trying to. We're not really trying to have a very, at least, intelligent, rational argument about anything. It's just like it could be kind of shit. It's probably going to be good.
Could be shit,
but maybe there's some concerning romantic comedies.
Right.
It could be a Hallmark movie, which would be the worst.
That is not going to happen. I have no worries about that. The question is, will this be, after. What do you even do after Fury Road? It's so strong and it's so good. Yeah. How do you follow that? That's the only fear I have, is that he just won't be able to live up to that. But that's okay. I put it out.
A romance movie about genies.
I think that's why you do a romantic comedy, because your movie after is not going to be as good, so you turn in something okay, get the job done, and
it's fair point.
Oh, I think we're getting to a point where we're just trolling Scott.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine.
I'm rewatching the trailer now, and I'm like, no, this looks pretty awesome. Like,
it does look awesome. I didn't say it was going to be bad. I just said it was going to be a romance movie.
Yeah, when they're sitting around in their bathrobes, it does look like a rom-com. It's true.
But that doesn't. Hold on. If your movie has two people sitting in bathrobes, I don't think that's a guarantee it's a romance movie. It just means
I just said it was going to be.
It just means they got through with some weird time travel shit, and they're all gooey from time goo, and now they gotta go shower.
Maybe they went to SeaWorld and they sat in the splash zone.
And they're back at
they're in some medieval castle of some kind too. So
they're all over the place.
The old SeaWorld, and they got splashed by Sir Shamu.
That's right, Sir Shamu.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've made our point, John. We probably should move on to do the other
can't believe you said Sir Shamu, as if that's what would determine the kind of whale, the killer whale they had way back then. He would have been known as a Sir, and not
it would have been knighted because he was impressive.
That's amazing. All right, forget about all that.
It's just stuff like this. Like one more shot though. Like it's stuff like this that makes you look at it and go like, if you told me that was a scene from a romantic movie, that I would, I'd be like, yeah, it looks like it.
Well, yeah, but you'd be wrong, and it's all good. It's okay to be wrong. Also, Twisted Metal. We'll see. We don't know how that's going to work. We'll keep our eye on that. Daybreak, Sony's. It used to be Sony. I guess, does Sony have anything to do with Daybreak anymore? I don't think they do. They used to be.
I don't think so.
They were Sony Online Entertainment, and then they changed the name. I'm pretty sure that's when they sold it, some other holding company. Anyway, Daybreak was working on a Marvel MMO, but they're not now. It got canceled, so we're probably never going to see anything. But what do you think that looked like? I thought I remember hearing about this because part of the reason they shut down, what was it called? Heroes? Or was it Marvel
City
Heroes?
of Heroes?
No, Marvel Heroes, the one with the top.
Marvel Heroes was the ARPG.
Yeah. The talk back then was part of the reason they're shutting this down is because they got an MMO in the works, and they expect that to
kind of shut it down for nothing.
So I think they shut it down for nothing. Yeah,
that's dumb.
I agree. That game was great.
At least we're getting Marvel Snap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not go too crazy, right? Like, Marvel Snap looks like a sweet TCG, but like, oh, maybe you meant that on purpose. I'm like really slow today, guys. I'm sorry.
I am just filling my role as setting people up today, setting people up and setting them up.
Yep.
See, this is what I was talking about. When it's like, like everyone thinks we're the ones that say all the weird things, and John's not funny. He's like, John's clearly funny, but he lies in wait, and like you dig a hole and put a
he's
piece of grass over it and let someone walk, and then
he's the thief.
I'm floating in free air for a full minute before I realize there's a hole underneath me, and you're laughing over there.
He's the thief sequel we've been waiting for that we've never gotten. John's like that guy up in the corner in the dark who's ready to pounce down and put a knife in your throat. But we like it.
Bridge.
Anyway, I don't know what that was going to look like. We don't know anything about it other than it got started. They canned it. My guess is, here's my guess. I don't think this had anything to do with the ARPG or anything else. I think this had to do with them realizing that if they really wanted the big money, because we're about to talk about this story anyway, they put it all into mobile, said, you know what, let's just have Marvel MMO likes and a bunch of them. Some of them are just gotcha character collectors. One of them, I forgot the name of it. Ibit played it for a while, is a straight up MMO. They worked with somebody in Korea and made it. And, you know, you create a character, you create a character and you play that character and you level them up and you get new gear and you play it like an MMO, but it's all mobile because that's where the real money is. And there's no guarantee you're going to succeed on a PC-based, you know, or console-based mobile or MMO these days. That's my thinking. If I had to guess.
I will say, like, while I was being a bit, you know,
facetious
about the whole, you know, well, at least we're getting Marvel Snap. I am seriously looking forward to that game. So since the last time we did a show, because Bo seemed excited about it, he went and did his research. I just looked at it and went, I like how the cards look. So I decided to actually see how the game played, and I watched them play a bunch of it and the philosophy of building decks around it and all of that. And I have to say, I'm genuinely excited for that game.
Same.
Like, really, as soon as they have a Apple beta to try, I will do it.
I'll do it in a heartbeat.
To play that game.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool. I like the way it looks. I like that they don't bog the card decks down with a bunch of bullshit. Like, you know, you're collecting hero cards. Like, that's what you're getting. You're not collecting, like, here's a aim assault rifle, or here's Mojo's underwear. Like, they're not throwing in a bunch of cards you don't want to see or have.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Iron Man, Wolverine.
Yep.
Captain Marvel. Like,
Yep.
We're just giving you the characters and they do cool things, and that's what it is. And I think it looks genuinely really good.
I do too.
A lot of people were like, oh, John's gonna hate this. I wish I did, but I don't. I think it looks awesome.
We found a mobile game that is also coming to PC. Yeah, so you'll be able to get your PC on there. But it looks great, and they had me at 3-minute games. I'm into shorter card combat games. If I'm talking PvP type games, I'm kind of done with sitting around waiting for a guy to let the fuse run out. Sort of TCGs and CCGs. Not into that. So yeah, bring it. When's that thing? They didn't say there's no beta.
Beta for Android is out now. Go sign up. I haven't gotten my invite, but I think it's because I'm Canada.
Where's the iOS beta? They say
I think Garrett got an invite.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I think they'll let Canadians in, but they can only play as Alpha Flight.
Wah, wah, wah,
They have to be. Who's the hairy?
I can play Wolverine. He hung out in Canada.
Well, that's true.
Okay,
But who's the Sasquatch guy?
He was on Alpha Flight.
Yeah. Who was that guy though? What's he called?
Wendigo.
Yeah. He's cool.
Tell him to go.
I also like the little tiny guy that's super smart, but because he reminds me of a modern day dwarf, like a fantasy dwarf. There's something about him. He just looks like he's, you know, if this was 1,000 years before, he'd be digging holes in a mountain. And
Are you talking about Puck?
is it Puck? Is that his name?
I don't know. There's a little guy named Puck.
I think it is Puck.
I hate Puck, but it's because I used to collect, like, from 1991. I used to collect the trading cards for Marvel cards. Part of the reason why I love this game is because some of the cards look like cards of that era, where you flipped it over and you had power ratings weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the most common card, I swear, was Puck. It felt like every pack I'd be like, all right, give me something cool. Give me something cool. And there's Puck standing there looking like a doofus. And I got so many Pucks.
Yeah. But
and
sure
he's
is
hairy too, eh?
Yeah,
he's just
very
a
hairy.
weird looking dude. Like, it's not a card you want to see multiple times.
I can understand that. I mean, I don't know. He was kind of a leader, though. That's important in your Alpha Flight, you know?
Yeah.
Got to have that going on.
I mean, look, I'm not saying I don't want him to exist. I just want fewer Pucks to give.
Wendigo's great because he would often fight Sabretooth or Wolverine or both. And it's just fun to watch guys that are all hairy fighting. That sounds weird.
At this fantasy casting, and people want Joe Rogan as Puck, and it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
The short, bald guy.
Did you guys see? I didn't. Speaking of Canadian things, I didn't know this was happening. There's a Sors, or what's his name? Not Scorsy.
Oh, did I get it wrong? Is Sasquatch the Alpha Flight guy?
Oh,
Wendigo is the
have I been
Wolverine villain?
saying it
I
wrong?
messed it up.
Oh, it's Sasquatch, really?
I forgot they had Wendigo and Sasquatch. Man,
Yeah.
Marvel getting it stamped down on big hairy creatures early and fast. They have Chewbacca too, for that matter.
But you know that Letterkenny show? They're doing a
Yeah.
spin-off called what's the guy's name? Hold on a second. I gotta find the guy's freaking name. The main character, or the main actor, Jared Kiso, plays Wayne on Letterkenny. He's doing this. Oh, Shorzy, that's what it's called. He's this hockey player. If you guys haven't seen Letterkenny, it doesn't sound like either of you have. Shorzy is the greatest character that you never see. He's a hockey player, and his face is always hidden. And he's always saying the worst things about everyone all the time. And he's getting his own show, and it starts this weekend, and I can barely contain myself. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. Anyway. Oh, my gosh, Shorzy. One of my favorite Canadian things ever. All right. Except for you, Bo. Bo, you're my favorite Canadian thing of all the things.
Yeah, I'm not really a great Canadian.
You're all right. I think you hold it together.
Not a good representative of the nation, even though now people have been emailing me and be like, yeah, Canadian.
Yeah,
brother.
go Canada.
And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not into nationalism. Thank you.
It's not really your thing. But...
Canada!
All right, let's get into this news. Death Stranding 2 was sort of announced.
I like how it was announced.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I've now let's get this out of the way. Haven't played it. First one, the existing game.
Hans Sanitizer gifted it to me. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I will play it at some point. So I will know if this is worthy of a sequel someday.
Yeah,
I can also try it, but something bad happened. I bought it because it was on sale, and we have enough people every time we bring it up, and we're like, I want to play the stupid carry stuff across the country game. And people are like, you guys will like it. You got to try it. You got to try it. Don't talk shit about it. Just try it. And so I was like, all right, it's on sale. It's like $5. I'll buy it. I bought it, and then they did the stupid director's cut. And even though I stand by that was a dumb concept for a thing, because he was given free reign to make whatever he wanted. So what the hell is a director's cut for this game?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, yeah, but the one I got isn't the director's cut.
Yeah, but what's in there? What's different? Do you even know?
You don't get a free upgrade to the director's cut?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I should check.
Maybe you do.
Complain about it.
You should, because if it isn't a free upgrade, it's like if they added like more Jeff Keighley. Like, don't rebuy it. You know what I mean? Like, and also it's a crime to kind of recharge for it. Like, Jeff's great and all, but he's not worth another
Don't
copy.
pay for more Keighley. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, what are you getting in the remastered version of something that was, or not? It's not remastered. It's director's cut, so it's clearly like stuff that didn't make the original release, right?
That's what they say. But I've seen some movies where they're called director's cut, and they're like Aliens. The director's cut of Aliens sucks. I hate it. It's got a cool
but
automatic
that's movies.
Right. Well, yeah, but the same idea though. If you do a movie you call it director's cut, you expect, oh, this is the one the director wasn't allowed to make, or this is his full blown vision or whatever. If this is not
video games, it's a patch. Like, I mean, it's been out a year. You just patch it. Like, we didn't include Jeff Keighley. It's like, let's release the Jeff Keighley patch. Like, and John's point, it's Kojima Productions. He's the business and the director. It's a patch. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
So I have the answer. The answer is no. The version I have is not the director's cut.
Okay.
For $10, I can upgrade it to the director's cut.
What do you get?
Or they would also be happy to sell it to me for $40 if I just want to buy it entirely on its own.
Okay, but
so
what
you're in the thieving business.
What they are in the thieving business, but what is it? Tell me what they're supposed to give you with directors. Like what do you actually gain for the $10? Do we know that? Do they tell us that? Or is it just, I don't know, assume it's skins? It's like, oh, Norman Reedus has a yellow hat now, or like, what is it? I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. So we're not going to find out.
I don't know.
I think they're ripping you off.
I'm trying to figure out what it has that's different.
What's in the director's cut exactly?
Yeah, and if it's not significant, I mean, $10 is not that bad, but still,
I'm on the page in Steam where it should tell you what you're buying, right? So it's $13.49 for the director's cut upgrade for customers who've purchased Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you though.
It doesn't tell you
Already
what the
on
difference is. They just say, "Oh, it's a director. Oh, it's director's cut. Oh,
You're gonna love the
you're gonna
director's
love
cut.
the director's cut.
It's got,
All this new footage and
Kojima
includes
finally let himself
a
make the
high
game he
frame
wanted to
rate.
make from the beginning. Oh, okay.
Includes you're getting a high frame rate. So
Uh-huh.
this should be a patch to settings.
Yeah,
You don't get to sell me better settings. Jerks.
Okay.
Photo mode.
Okay.
Ultra wide monitor support.
Oh, you don't
Also
have that
includes
anymore.
crossover content from Valve Corp's Half-Life series and CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk. And then stay connected with players around the globe with the social strand system, which I think should be in the base game.
I think it is in the base game.
Yeah.
I think for some reason they put that in the.
So
comes
they
with
don't
it.
tell you. So here, buy this director's cut upgrade. What's in it? We're not telling you.
That sucks.
Frame rate. You can pay $10 for frame rate.
What, $10 for how much frame rate? Like it's already running at 60 on PC.
More frame rate.
So
Would you like more frame rate?
Do you want to do
We can give you some
120?
more frame rate.
If you got a monitor that'll do 120, I suppose that's cool. But is it worth $10?
So according to The Verge, it says Death Stranding Director's Cut is one of the more worthwhile PS5 upgrades out there. For $10, the new edition comes with extra missions, improved visuals and performance, more tools and items, DualSense power, haptic feedback. It's a patch.
Okay.
Because it's Hideo Kojima, and he is a director. I am a director of games. I am not a project lead or a CEO. I am a director. So when I release a patch, it's $13.49. It's a game patch.
Okay, but that's the PS5 version. What about what's the PC? I mean, the PC version was already a higher frame rate. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
Well,
It's
you get the more missions. That's what you get.
You get
And a
more
photo
missions.
mode.
Okay, so more.
You take a better picture of Norman Reedus.
You put more ladders in places and climb them and dump all your shit by accident.
You get all
pick
the
it
tools.
up
Maybe you get a
again.
bottle.
I don't know, man.
Because you can pee in that game. You have to pee, so maybe you get a bottle for the pee.
The other problem I had, or the reason I never played the game, I got kind of John-itis on it, like you get with Inside or precious indie games. I was feeling like this was a overly precious AAA game, where it was just like, okay, it's a Hideo Kojima and he's doing weird things.
Yeah, I see that logic.
You're right. There is organic weird and there is forced weird, and some of the things I've seen about Death Stranding definitely fall into the forced weird.
He's like a George Miller for some people, though, right?
Oh
absolutely.
Scott's just like, listen, guys, quit.
I just never bought into it. I mean, look, I thought that there was some Metal Gear stuff that was pretty quirky over the years. Seeing a giant whale in the sky for no reason that never gets answered again is weird and interesting. But I never really bought all the way in on he's a genius for putting a whale in the sky. I mean, really? I could think of that.
I mean,
it's not that hard to think of.
I could put a whale. Yeah, but would you light it on fire? Would you be brave enough to light it on fire?
Yeah. Since it's polygons and no one gets hurt,
Yes,
I would light it on fire. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. That's just a weird thing. It feels more like this is that $10 Sony juke they do with a lot of their games, first-party games, and it irritates me. I don't like that they do it at all. All right. Well, moving on from that, we don't know anything else about it except that there's a sequel in the works. Beyond Good and Evil 2 still in development, according to some job postings, and just generally, Ubisoft seems to indicate that game's still being made. So.
That game exists to give people jobs for a period of time.
It feels like it, doesn't it? I want to be. See, here's where I get skeptical. I couldn't be more skeptical these days of Ubisoft and their plans. And I think rightly so. They've just, I don't know, they're weird right now. They are a weird company right now, and I don't believe anything they say. Do I want Skull and Bones? Yes. Do I want to see what that finally turned into? Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm all into pirates. Let's do this. Let's get that out. Do I think it's going to be Ubisoft to use that as a pejorative? Probably. Like, they've just kind of screwed things up. When you look at their library for the last, 6 years, the best game they've made is one that no one knew was coming, barely knew anything about, and came out. And it was that I forgot the name now. The Grease one, the one that was like Breath of the Wild. The
Phoenix Rising.
Phoenix Rising, the game that had no right to be as good as it was, and it was good despite all the other things they've been doing. And I'm not saying Valhalla was bad or any of that. Those are all great games. But they're just very samey and very safe and very Ubisoft. That game really jumped out at me and like going, okay, here's some creativity going on. Here's something different, something new. And it was super rad. And everything else since has been just a stinker. So I don't know what to think of this, but they're working on it. So
I guess the thing that confuses me about Beyond Good and Evil 2 is Beyond Good and Evil is obviously beloved and has a lot of fans, and it's this, kind of cult classic to a degree. But all it really was like kind of your action platformer, Zelda-like, but happened to execute on everything and story and atmosphere really well. So what the hell is taking so long to make a follow-up to that?
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
it tells me that they don't actually understand why that game is good. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, I think maybe you're trying to overreach. Like, people wanted a sequel to Beyond Good and Evil. The fact that you haven't been able to figure that out and make it work, and that it's like trying to solve some puzzle, tells me that you are not going down the correct road.
Feels like Psychonauts to me, in that Psychonauts didn't do this. They made the game, and there is a Psychonauts 2. It may have taken a while, but the original was so beloved, even though at the end of the day that was a 3D platformer with some interesting concepts and some really good writing, but really that's all it was. It wasn't some magic trick. It was a fun game. And their follow-up is a great follow-up to that, with more of the things people love about it in it, in a better graphical package that controls better and is, just a better for modern standards kind of game. That's enough. That's what you need. That's the follow-up. So why is Beyond Good and Evil not in that state yet? Freaking, you got me, man. I don't know what they're thinking. They have probably been in and out of ideas like, how do we leverage the the loot box trend? And then that went to shit, and they went, all right, pull that out, and what if this was just a mobile? Like, I can hear them doing this.
Can we put blockchain into this science fiction universe?
Oh, gosh, dude. See, that's what I worry about, is that's the
like
development
the last
hell it's
time
in.
they showed it, it was like, you're gonna play as a sky pirate monkey, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I remember playing as a photographer named Jade, and that seemed to be the character people liked. Why are we a sky pirate monkey? Like, just make a sequel.
Yeah, make a game.
Just figure it out.
Yeah,
and
make
just
it
put
fun.
it out. And guess what? If people don't like it, you'll get feedback on it, and you can. But it's like people go, well, it's beloved, so we have to figure out a way to do a beloved follow-up. But it's not beloved because the game was the gold standard in every department of that it tried to hit. They just made a really competent, good game.
Yeah. I feel like the Nintendo. This is why I admire Nintendo from a dev standpoint. They're never afraid to just make a better game. And like, think about how many games they've had that are considered the best in class. Super Mario 64, mind-blowing at the time, still holds up. Ocarina of Time, SNES games with those same characters in them were considered the pinnacle of where they were, and they just keep doing better. Do they have moments where it's like, oh, Twilight Princess was good, but, kind of samey compared to previous
Mario
games?
Sunshine was not.
Sure, I enjoyed it,
great
but yes,
follow-up to 64.
Right, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, mind-blowing good. But it's
But
good
then you
enough.
look at Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, and Galaxy's
Mario Galaxy
incredible.
2.
And you know what else is great? Is Odyssey is an amazing Mario game. It's incredible. They
Wind
just keep
Waker.
doing it. And why can they do it and Ubisoft can't do it with a third tier game like Beyond Good and Evil 2? I don't get it.
They just don't try. It can be from a good place. I'm not saying wanting to make a great game is a bad quality, but I do think that they get into a headspace of having to constantly second guess themselves. The difference is Nintendo's like, oh, we're going to put it out. We're going to put out the best game we can, but it's going to be the game we want to make. If we want Mario to clean up the streets of an island town with a water pack, we're going to try it.
Yeah, do it.
And if people don't like it, we'll try something else.
Yeah.
And sometimes if people do like it, we're still going to try something else, because as good as Mario Galaxy is, they did that for 2 games and then they stopped doing it.
Yep, they moved on to something else. You're absolutely right. And those games were great too. Those 3D Mario Land things, amazing games in their own way. that 2D one. It was 3D but played 2D. What was that called? Super Mario Brothers Wii U or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Amazing platformer. Incredible game. I just think someone in the chat says maybe they're afraid of fan outcry and toxic gamers being dicks. I am sorry to say this, but that ship has sailed, and it's true of everything. And I don't care how good the thing is you put out, you're going to get toxic a-holes. So I think companies like this need to just, like, don't look at that. I don't know what they're looking at. I can't say it Ubisoft. But if they are, don't pay attention to it. Focus on amazing content. Make the games you want to play the most. Really iterate and bury down and make an amazing game. That's all you're going to need in the end. It doesn't matter what anyone says. They'll sell. And I feel like Beyond Good and Evil's in this loop of, I mean, I don't have any information about this, just a feeling I have. And
there's the 10-minute, well, it's not 10 minute, but there's the trailer they released in 2018 for it, and that trailer's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's great. I got so excited seeing that. I remember covering it with John that day.
Yeah. Every time they show something, it looks cool.
Yeah.
But then it disappears and it looks like something completely different by the time it comes back.
Yeah. And Skull and Bones was this for me for a while there. Like, I'm not holding out too much hope, but I still, in my heart of hearts, of like, they're going to find a way to make that rad and really do something cool in the pirate space. And it's going to be great. And I'm going to hold on to that hope until I see it. But I guess what I'm saying is, of all the big publishers, all the big dev teams, all the big AAA studios, right now Ubisoft is just like, I don't know, they just feel like they're dragging. Just weird. Weird for a company that big to be so... Like, when's the last time they really put out a game? Was it Valhalla? That's 2 years now? I mean, well, I guess there was Far Cry 6, but that came and went with a fart. Like, nobody cared.
Yeah, didn't hear a lot about it. I almost bought it because it was on sale, but yeah.
And I'm sure the new Far Cry is fine. That's not my point. My point is, why is it just fine? Like, why can't you I guess that's why Nintendo is Nintendo. In a lot of ways, Sony is Sony and Microsoft is Microsoft. The platform holders seem to do better in this regard. And if Ubisoft did, maybe they'd have their own console we're all buying or something. I don't know. Because
as much as we say Mario Galaxy was great, Mario Galaxy 6 doesn't have the same appeal as Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it comes down to, is Nintendo, for all you might say, like, I hated the water tank, or, you know, I didn't like Twilight Princess, you know, for the ones that come out that you don't like, they don't stick around in that format forever. They don't linger. If you don't like if you don't like Wind Waker's art style, well, it only stuck around for that game and then a couple Game Boy Advance ones.
Yeah, that's true.
For good or for bad, I think it's a hell of a
bad.
lot better
It should
than
stay.
Twilight Princess.
Freaking
but,
love
you know,
it. Yeah, keep going.
It is what it is.
Keep going with that look. Bank that look. Freaking even Breath of the Wild should have looked like that. I freaking loved it. Anyway, that's an old argument, and I won't try to make a case in 2022. But
if you don't like climbing up towers and getting a breakdown of like weird shoot 'em up events in the nearby area and animals to kill, well, you know, maybe you're not going to like Far Cry 6, especially because it's kind of technically Far Cry 12, because not only do they have their numbered ones, they also have their off number ones that come out in between, your blood dragons and new bloods or whatever it is. And
your ancient
I
man
I don't remember what it's called. They always have one in between. They've done this a lot of times, and for some people that love those games, that's good. But for a lot of people, that's going to get stale, and they haven't stopped to reinvent it. You know, I love Giancarlo Esposito, but him being in the game doesn't revolutionize a formula that I've done a lot of times in that universe.
Yeah. I was more interested in seeing him in Better Call Saul or The Boys or any number of other Giancarlo Esposito roles. He's in everything, it feels like, these days. Way more interested in all that than I was him being mocapped into a game that I've already played 7 times. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm bashing on him. Not bashing on him. I don't know why I feel this way about Ubisoft. I just want to see them succeed, because I used to have really fond feelings for them. Right around the time Ghost Recon Wildlands was out, that game was great. I freaking loved that game. It had problems at launch, but it really came into its own, and I loved it. And The new one just wasn't as good as that, and everything since just felt too safe. They had their battle royale that was just too little too late, and it's already gone. What happened to that weird sports game where you skate around that oval? And what happened to that? I even played it. They had an alpha that year after E3. You could play it, and I liked it. It was good. It was like, hey, this is kind of got vibes of like Rocket League or something. And I know that's what they were aiming for, and it felt good. So what happened? I don't know. Are they even making that follow-up to the Mario Rabbids thing that they said they're doing? Supposed to be making a new one of those?
I think that one will probably end up happening, but
and where's Splinter
it has
Cell?
been a lot quieter at Ubisoft. And I mean, maybe that scandal stuff,
That never helps. Yeah.
You got COVID, you got scandals, you got all sorts of stuff. Like, who knows why they've gone as radio silent as they have. But, I think the reason why you're so interested, in spite of what they've been putting out, is because when they do innovate, it tends to be really cool. Like, when you look at the Assassin's Creed jump to where they went from what they'd been doing to Origins and Odyssey and those ones, you're like, oh my gosh, wow, this is revolutionary.
That was pretty great. Yeah.
They just ride that wave a little too long each time.
Yeah.
I think they need to iterate slightly quicker.
Also, Splinter Cell, you cowards, make a new Splinter Cell. Not you guys, they're cowards.
Didn't they tease that they were, or were they just putting him in something?
I think they teased it, and everybody jumped to conclusions. But really, it was that he was getting put into that free-to-play thing.
Yeah,
Rainbow Six Siege.
No, it was.
I think
Siege?
he did get put.
Maybe
in
it was
Siege,
Siege.
though,
I think you might be right about that.
I mean, that's their big, success in terms of free-to-play, freemium deal.
Yeah, and that last. The one they made in 2013, the name escapes me, but the last Splinter Cell game is legitimately good. People gave it shit because Michael Ironside wasn't Sam Fisher, but it didn't matter. It was still.
Well, you play it for the gameplay. It's nice if these voice actors are in it, but you'll live.
Yeah, but I do like Michael Ironside.
I love him.
He's in Barry this season.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Is he?
Yeah, he was good in Nobody. Surprised me to see him in that. He was what Odenkirk's played his father in that, or father-in-law.
Yeah.
And he had to buy the business with those gold bars so he could turn it into the shootout at the end. Dude, Nobody's a great movie. I loved it.
Nobody is fantastic.
Yeah,
yes.
It's great.
There's
I don't like the name.
A weird snake eating its own tail between a lot of things I'm watching right now that weirds me out. Better Call Saul had an insanely blatant reference to Curb Your Enthusiasm this year.
Really?
And it weirded me out how on the nose it was. They have a meeting at a place called Mocha Joe's, and they talk about a neighboring place called where they get lattes.
No spoilers.
That's not a spoiler. That's just weird, isn't it? I would just call that weird.
Yeah,
I thought you were
really
gonna
weird.
say.
I was like, that's a straight up Curb reference right there.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe I thought you were going to say they made a spite store.
No, they reference one though. Absolutely spot on.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, Bo, you can put your headset on.
We should probably indicate Bo can put.
Yeah, you can put them on. There's nothing being spoiled. You're fine.
Yes, the joke. I want to discover it on my own.
Well, maybe it doesn't.
I don't have AMC.
Yeah. Well, how do you get it? What do you do for that? You have to Plex that? Or?
I think I wait for it to be on Netflix or something like that.
Need some Plex friends. Gotta get a Plex server up there in Canada.
You need Plex friends.
Need some Plex friends. I have a couple of Plex friends.
Isn't Plex piratey?
I mean, it can be. It's not. It's a perfectly legal enterprise. But some people, if they share their home library with you, and it's got a bunch of stuff that you couldn't, that only they can give you or whatever, then yeah, it's a little piratey. But sometimes it's just straight up. Like Plex has shows; they have their own original stuff on there, plus movies and things.
Plex is an actual service.
Oh yeah,
it's an actual streaming service.
Yeah, okay. But you can run your own servers and have your own internal network and play your stuff digitally and whatever. Plex is cool. But yeah, there's some dubiousness to it.
Somebody become Bo's Plex friend.
Yeah, be a Plex friend.
No, I've had offers. I've declined them on the basis of it's not I don't want to flirt with distribution illegal distribution issues.
Yeah, because you know what happens. The Canadian Mounties show up at your house, and boom, you're dead.
Canada!
They'll get you every time up there in Canada. Let's talk about this. So we talked about it before a little bit briefly, but 61% of $222 billion in game revenue in 2022. $222 billion, by the way, is a lot of freaking money. 61% of that was estimated to be from mobile, according to data analysts. So that's
actually lower than I would have guessed, but it's still very high.
It's still pretty freaking high. Like that's a lot of portion of that being. I mean, there's no wonder everybody's like, oh no, we got to do mobile. Got to have a plan for mobile. Let's do mobile. They get excited about NFT crap and all of that because there's a hook there, and they're super stoked about mobile. Well, this is why. There's a lot of money to be made, and you're just leaving it on the table if you don't do it. And I wouldn't be. I'd seriously would not be surprised if that Marvel MMO got canned in favor of them just working on the mobile one, which is probably not good, but also nets them millions of dollars a minute. So why would they care if you can play it on your PC or not? They don't care. Which really depresses me. I mean, John's right about, we need that money to fund everything else, but... Ugh.
So I was talking about this yesterday on my stream, where, like, I think what might happen, because everyone's got a phone. I mean, it's technically already possible, but the cell phones are not powerful enough yet. But at some point in the future, in the close future, there'll still be enthusiast PC gaming, but for the average person, your phone will double up as your PC. So you come home, you plug it into your dock, keyboard, mouse, monitor. Like, I mean, it basically could kind of already be that. It's almost kind of silly. So then, in a scenario like that, mobile gaming ceases to be mobile gaming and is PC gaming because your phone is your PC.
Yeah, I don't think that's...
I mean, with Microsoft services, you're basically a flash drive away from being able to go to your office and plug a USB stick into your TV and play Xbox games at work. If you want
it was the Steam Deck that made me think of that, because I'm like, the Steam Deck, what's the difference between a Steam Deck and a mobile phone? And it's like, well, I can play my Steam library on it.
You are saying Steam Dick, yeah? I'm hearing Dick.
And the Steam Deck, Steam Dick.
Okay, just making sure I was hearing that.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna do the accent. I'm just calling it Steam Dick.
Yeah, call it full Steam Dick. It's fine.
Yeah. So it's what I hear every time. So he's just,
I'm just leaning it. I'm just dropping the pretension at this point.
Now everybody's just hearing what I've heard all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Steam Deck, it doubles up as a home PC, right?
Yeah.
So why not your Apple phone? Like if they could make them a little more powerful, just juice them a little bit more. And if you need extra hard disk space, you get a hub. Like you can plug your external hard disk, mouse, keyboard, monitor. What else do you need? If you want additional GPU rendering, how about an external video card?
Sure.
I really think there's an opportunity there in the future to just, aside from PC enthusiasts, which is not going away. What if you told grandma, like, you know what, you don't have to own a computer anymore. Your phone will do all that stuff for you. Just plug it into this nice little cheap package of mouse, keyboard, monitor.
My mom already does that with an iPad and a keyboard accessory. She's there.
Yeah. So that's where the gaming, like because the way I was looking at it is, I'm like, Xbox and PlayStation have such a big task ahead of them to get consoles in the hands of everyone. Whereas like with phones, other companies have already done it for you. Like the job of getting the consoles in front of people is done because they want a cell phone anyways, and they're now powerful enough to run games. So it's like no shock that gaming is the most money-making thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna continue. And I think that's why you see Square Enix, all these companies, be like, yeah, you guys have fun with your games, your PC games.
Yeah, they're kind of talking
console games.
They're basically saying the loud part, the quiet part, loud, and some devs are kind of skirting around it. So in some ways, I've had a lot of thought about this week about Square and their weird messaging. Part of me is annoyed by it because I know what I like, but part of me thinks it's weirdly refreshing that they're just kind of being honest about what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to explain.
No, I prefer honesty. Like we can still criticize it, but it's better to be honest than to say canceled the Diablo 3 expansion without letting people know you've canceled the Diablo 3 expansion.
Yeah, still mad about that. Freaking sucks. Look, we're not that far from what you described. It can already be done in a lot of ways. I think Microsoft, in particular, sees the writing on the wall and why they've invested so much in the potential of xCloud, standalone streaming devices, TVs with it built in, mobile versions of stuff. Like, they're already doing that. They're already banking on that future while still facilitating the current needs. But if you're saying to me, hey, I can come home, like John, imagine this. You come home from work or whatever, and you're like, I want to play some awesome game I love. And it's one I paid for. I paid $50 for this game. Yeah. It's not a free-to-play game. It's not full of garbage or whatever. I take my phone, I stick it in a little tiny dock. It doesn't even have to dock. It just syncs with some monitor, mouse and keyboard, or a controller, and bam, I'm playing it the way I've always played it, but I'm playing it on this device that is also charging while it's doing all of this. So I'm not losing power. I'm not wasting battery. I'm just playing this game. We really are almost there because the graphical capabilities of these devices are already pretty damn amazing on the higher end of things. And they're only going to get better, smaller, better, more efficient. So we are heading there. My biggest complaint is, as we head there, what experiences will we head there with? Will we maintain the breadth of experiences possible in gaming? Or will everybody feel like they have to do gacha and have to do free-to-play and have to do a million currencies and have to do all this bullshit? Because that's where the money's rolling in from right now. Will enough momentum be there for... Because I don't care where I play it. I just want to play games that are big, well-made games or small, indie-developed games. I don't care where they come from, but I want them to be the games I like to play, not forced into this... I mean, I sound like John. I don't want to play the games John doesn't like. I'm with him on this.
Yeah.
I think one of two things happens, and maybe both happen. One, the bubble bursts. Like, if everybody invests in mobile games, if the well everywhere else dries up and everybody's just doing gacha, it's not sustainable. Right. Like, that's not going to last forever. Eventually, people are going to get sick of it, and they're going to go, no, thank you, we don't want it. And then the companies are going to have to figure out something else, and maybe they go back to what worked before. But I also think, like, companies are greedy, and if traditional gaming as we know it, what we consider AAA console style gaming, if that goes away and dries up, then I think some company out there is going to go, hey, I bet there's a bunch of people like Scott, like you guys, that I want that experience. We're going to make that. Whether it's for phone or not, we're going to do it. We're going to put it out there. And they do that. And then everybody goes, oh, this is amazing. And now it's hitting that mass market because it is going out to everybody who, has a phone or whatever, however the system is set up.
Yeah.
And it blows up and other people go, well, they made a lot of money and got a lot of attention off of that. We want to do that too. So there might be some shifting, but I don't think it ever goes away. I think the demand is always going to be there. It's just how rough is it going to be getting to that stage?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. It's the growing pains I worry about because we'll have to experience them, And I guess we've always kind of had that, like trying to run your games on Windows ME was a nightmare and it sucked and you never had enough RAM and that was a growing experience. PCs are different now.
I don't think it goes anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I hope not.
Slots haven't gone anywhere.
No, but that's because
slots are still popular.
But taking advantage of people's tendency towards gambling is what's not gone anywhere.
But that's what gacha does. It's the same. It doesn't go anywhere. Like, there's always going to be a market for it. Now that we've like pierced that bubble, like that would be my fear. Is I don't think it's a passing trend. I think it's
that stuff. Yeah,
trend.
For sure. I guess what I'm saying is, will the other stuff remain? And that's where I'm a little less sure.
I think so. There'll always be the trend is the small company becomes big company. Big company gets shareholders. Shareholders want profits. Big company goes, well, we need to go where the money is, and no longer services what it originally set out to do. I mean, you see it sort of happening with all these. It's the paradigm for all these companies. Eventually, all game companies turn into gacha game companies, essentially.
But I think here's where I disagree, because I think it can certainly grow. I think it will grow, but it is a Venn diagram. There are people that will play mobile games only, gotcha style games. There are people that will play only AAA, like traditional game experiences, and then there's people in the middle that do both. And who's to say, we will find out. I think the market is going to eventually show how off balance those circles are. But at the end of the day, there is going to be someone that realizes there is an audience not being served, that there is a circle over there of people that want more traditional style video games, and there's money to be made there, and they will make them. Does that mean we could live in a world where no game ever looks better than Cyberpunk 2077? Sure, that could potentially happen because they don't have the budget to afford it. But someone will always move in to make games for those people. It might be less games. It might be less quality.
They're making them now.
Could be a lot of things. But
let's not talk like they're not making them now, because they are, right? Like,
a lot of them
61%. There's still 40. Oh shit. 39%. There's still 39% of. There's still 39% of which is, we're talking 61% of 225 billion. So there's still, 80 billion of revenue in 2022 for AAA games. It's not as if they're not making the games.
Yeah.
I'm just saying gacha style games are here to stay forever.
Oh yeah.
It's not a trend. They're here to stay forever. I mean, now that we've pierced that bubble and we're at that scale, unless there's like a better way to do, I just don't see how there's a better way to sell an update, a director's cut, a patch for 13. Like that's if you can get away with selling that and cosmetics and randomized loot boxes, I mean, I just don't see why anyone goes away unless they're forced to.
Yeah, there is no better way until either somebody tells them they're not allowed to do it, or until unanimously enough people decide they won't participate in it.
To me, that one's the pipe dream.
I don't think that one's going to happen. I think it's more likely that somebody would step in and go, hey, you guys can't do this.
Every game finds its whales. And a listener emailed, because I was working on the name for those kinds of games, and he suggested, how about a trap, like a whale trap?
Whale trap.
Because they're trying to trap the whale, right? You come into our lovely nightclub. You have lots of money? Well, we have a VIP section. Free beer on the house. Here's people to socialize with. And then,
That's Hotel California, dude. That's Hotel California. You can check anytime you like, but you can never leave. That's what you've described.
Yeah, and then these people are like, I really don't want to mess around with just buying $2. Let me just drop $2,000 and get everything this game has to offer, and lord it over other people, and blah blah blah.
Yep. Ugh, yeah. I hate all that, but yes. So, okay, just a tack on to this. TikTok's testing game functionality, and they're going to roll out some stuff in Vietnam, and you'll be able to play games right on your freaking TikTok app as part of the TikTok experience. My guess is these will be, probably written in HTML5, which is powerful and cool, actually. So it's not a ding, but you'll end up playing, here's my guess. They're going to call it TikTok Arcade. It'll be a tab. You'll click in there, and there'll be like a Pac-Man-like game, or maybe they'll license things. I don't know. But there'll be games like that. And you're going to play a bunch of 2D looking whatever. There might be some gotchas or something. That's what I think TikTok's up to.
I can't comment on this because I went to download TikTok just to find out what it was, and two young kids saw me coming and they just went no. I turned around and went back.
I use TikTok all the time.
And we know you post a lot of TikToks.
Yeah, I get plenty of Shrek memes. I know you use TikTok, Scott.
Yeah,
I see a Shrek video just about every week.
I do a lot of TikTok viewing, and I find a lot of really weird stuff. I like a lot of art stuff on there. I like the algorithm. I like the way it works. I think it's a social network that doesn't make me feel like I'm doom scrolling, which is partly why I like it. Where everything else is just depressing and shitty. This thing is just like, hey, here's a guy who made something out of clay. That's weird. Hey, this is a guy who figured out how to bungee off of a airplane nose while flying over the Grand Canyon. That's insane. Like, it's just content that's not constantly in my face about politics or shootings or all the other bullshit going on in the world. It's just like, here's somebody who made something weird.
Something's bad.
Yeah, and I really like it for that. Will I play
YouTube
games on there?
Like, why is this movie bad? Why is this video game bad?
Well,
why is this person's hairpiece bad?
I'm sure some of that exists, but the way the algorithm works, it only gives you what you like. So if you see something you don't, you flick it, and then it never comes back. And it's very good at
been
that.
my policy in life, and it's worked good for me so far. If I see something I don't like, I flick it and hope it never
Nothing wrong with
back.
that. That's totally fine.
That's my booger policy.
Yeah, and Pike B in the chat is absolutely right. My TikTok feed, my public feed, will look a lot different than somebody else's. And normally I don't trust algorithms, but this is a case where this algorithm is actually only. I've got it now. I don't know. I didn't do it. It's inadvertent, but I've trained it to give me what I want.
Yeah,
and that's all I get.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm making a joke mostly because, let me tell you, my stepdaughter likes TikTok a lot, and her algorithm will just say is not the algorithm I would be interested in.
Oh, not
so
even
my
close.
exposure to TikTok is you sending me Shrek.
Yeah.
And what she shows me, which is a lot of very trendy, weird songs. Occasionally me feeling super old because she's like, listen to this. And it's like something I listened to as a kid. And she's like, it's so old. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, this isn't good. None of this is good for me.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And I would never, or even just starting to use it, it doesn't know what you like yet. And so it's just going to give you what's big, and some of what's big is stupid as shit, and who cares? So you're going to get flooded with that. So you got to start flicking, and before you know it, boom, it's all. I watched a guy take a tiny, I guess it was just a GoPro camera, and he put it on a little remote control car, and he drove it down a pipe that he found in his backyard. He'd never known where this pipe went. There was no water coming out of it. So he filmed driving this little remote control car with a light and a GoPro as far as it would let him go, and it ended up pooping out on the other side of town. And it was just a really great 3 or 4 part weird thing, and I really enjoyed it because it was kind of this strange exploration of a city through a pipe, and those are the kind of things I get on there. Will I jump over to a tab and play games on there? I probably not. I don't go there for video games, but somebody's gonna probably. They'll probably do real well.
So Netflix has video games now.
Yeah.
You don't play them through their app though. You download them to your phone via the app. So you're kind of in their app, and you're like, oh, this Stranger Things game looks fun, and you hit that, and then goes to the store and brings down the app. So you're not playing them.
This is the age-old, like, what about this walled garden?
I know. Yeah.
Like, why am I in your walled garden? I already have one. Why do I need to be in double walled garden? But,
oh yeah, no, there's a lot of that. I mean, they bought the Oxenfree dev team to make who knows what. Like, I'm not really sure what Netflix's end game is, but they've got stuff going on over there.
The plan about
I think they're doing a version of Exploding Kittens, right, or something like that.
Yes,
that's what I saw.
I think so. There's some kind of mobile game based on Exploding Kittens happening. Which, if you ask any of my board game friends, tabletop friends, they all hate that game. So I don't know who that game's for.
So they're trying to really get in the good graces of people who like board games.
Yeah.
It's a game for casuals. Like, there are board game enthusiasts. Right.
But we stumbled on the mobile game version of board games.
No, I mean, literally Scrabble. Like, if I'm going to sit down with my family and play a game, and I'm like, I got this sweet game. It's called well, they actually don't mind Towson, but they struggle with it. But like Battlestar Galactica, can I get a game going with them? No. After page 2 of rules, everyone's like, they need Monopoly, they need Scrabble, they need Exploding Kittens. But like, if you're a board game enthusiast, the last thing you want to play is the Milton brothers or Milton Bradley level games.
Milton brothers.
Like, I didn't become a board game enthusiast just to play Scrabble or Trouble. Right? Imagine being like, let's all sit down on Saturday and play some Trouble.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, who would want to do that? It's like, there are families out there who want to do that. They don't share your enthusiasm for complex board games and prefer Trouble to Gloomhaven. A mountain, a poor tree died for your endless cardboard cutouts and rules.
Yeah, it's like one tree per version or per game.
Yeah. There is a mobile version gaming. They just haven't monetized it yet for board games.
Yeah, that PC game's pretty good though. That Gloomhaven game, I like it.
Gloomhaven's a great game. Like
Yeah.
we like Gloomhaven. We forget about. I hate using the word the normies. I need a better word than normies. But
I know what you
the
mean,
regular
though.
folk.
Yeah, the regular.
folk.
Is there any way?
Not everyone got their geek passport punched during the geek revolution of the 2000s.
No.
And they're still out there.
Yeah, for some of us, we had our explosion in the early 90s, and it never stopped.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, good luck, all you Exploding Kittens fans out there. We'll see how it goes. Final thing is, this is some good news, I think. First game dev union exists with the Game Workers Alliance at Raven Software, and Microsoft say they will recognize the union as the Activision purchase goes through. This is a first at least for Activision Blizzard. And at the same time, Activision Blizzard is being sued again by multiple parties for obstructing unionization stuff, like threatening to do certain things or whatever. So that's all still going on. They're still being kind of giant dicks about it. But we have an actual union happening, and I think it's good, especially in that company. And I think it's cool that Microsoft will recognize it. We'll see how they do in the long run, but some good news coming out of there. Raven, the people that brought us Hexen and Hexen 2. Or no, Heretic. Wait, Heretic? Hexen. Whatever it was.
They made Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast. They're all right by me.
They're great. I like Raven. They made what was the modern shooter game where you could actually blow people's legs and arms off and stuff? It was really controversial.
Soldier of Fortune?
Soldier of Fortune. 2 in
Yeah.
particular, right? I think it was Soldier of Fortune 2.
Yeah, 2 was pretty bad. Well, 1 you could do it as well, but it was also so old. It was,
It just looked stupid.
bad.
But yeah, this thing looked really realistic at the time. And people were, oh, I can't believe it's video games. Oh, and they freaked out about it. I remember that. But anyway, Raven Software.
Voyager, Elite Force as well.
Oh, yeah. That's a good game.
Yeah.
All those are good.
Imagine an actual Star Trek first-person shooter that was good.
Yeah.
I did like that. Was that the one set in Voyager?
Yeah.
Voyager,
And you could just explore Voyager if you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, there was a whole part of the game where they were just like, yeah, just go explore the ship.
We
You can go
played the
wherever you
hell
want.
out of that multiplayer on a LAN back in the day. The company I worked at, and we just, oh my gosh, we played that till our eyes bled, and we loved it. Some of those guns were so much fun, and you look like a little Tuvok running around. It was great. The game was great. All right, that's it for your big news. Hey, how about we take a moment here and listen to an old letter that was sent into GamePro, issue 210 of March of 2006. Well, that's jumping a little bit, but John, you were like 93 last time or something.
Yeah, my wife picked this one out because she said it had Sonic on it, and she said Sonic's been in the news a lot, so we went with this one.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, this is from the 360 era, like right when the 360 was coming out. Are the letters going to be relevant or entertaining at all? And I got 2 of them, and you can be the judge on if it still applies, this sort of letter in our current society.
Here goes. Let's see what happens.
My dearest Martha, I was watching G4 TV, Xbox 360 Countdown, and it was pretty good. The only thing I could not stand was seeing celebrities getting Xboxes that could have been sold to the general public. I mean, is Paris Hilton ever going to play that 360? The kicker of the whole celebrity party was when she was asked, Battlefront or Perfect Dark? She just gave a confused sort of look to the camera and didn't answer. I guess my point is that rich celebrities who can afford a 360 and yet would never buy one should not get one for free. Celebrities should stay where they belong, in Beverly Hills drinking lemonade champagne. Yours in this life and the next, Clown Master.
Wait a minute.
Clown Master?
Is that what they do? It's lemonade.
That's all celebrities.
All
That's
right.
every
They
celebrity
should
you know.
stay in their hills.
All right. Well, I'm
Stay in your hills.
Do we have an answer from Martha for this one?
No, but I do have a second letter. Unfortunately, Martha didn't feel like responding to anybody this week.
That's
so
unfortunate. That's okay though. All right. Well, here's number 2.
My dearest Martha, hello. Game Pro. I'm a grown-up gamer, 38 years old. I make decent cash, enough to buy my Xbox 360 and all the trimmings. Billy and his boys brought the turkey for Thanksgiving, but most of us just got the wishbone. Is this Willy economics, or just a cruel game and the richest man in the world plays on lowly gamer geeks like us? I was one of the unfortunate ones who tried to camp out to get a 360. My local 24-hour Kmart chose to use a raffle system to contain 200 crazed Xbox addicts looking for the next best fix at midnight. With only 25 consoles, people were a little on edge. I waited with the anticipation of a kid at homecoming, waiting for some girl to ask him to dance. Well, as in high school, I was left there standing with only chapstick on my lips. The Green Grinch with glasses didn't put a 360 under my tree either. I guess I'll just try eBay. Yes, I know I'm stupid. But I'm the same idiot who decided to renew his Game Pro over his Playboy. Sorry, Hef. Yours in this life and the next, Paul M.
Wow.
They published that mail?
Paul
They must
M.
not have gotten a lot of mail that month.
No kidding. I think the writing was on the wall at that point. We were about to see the rapid demise of game magazine writing in, significance, whatever. 2006, we were kind of getting past it. So
I think they only included it because he said he would sub to Game Pro over Playboy.
it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
You probably
Now
not wrong.
I assume
That's
he's back
the
on-
only reason I read his email. That and it was like indecipherably complex for an email about I couldn't get a 360.
Yeah.
I assume he's back on the Playboy since Game Pro's out of defunct.
Yeah.
Like in 2022, today, he's out there. That guy is somewhere, and he's got his Playboy.
He's
like,
somewhere. He's like
Game Pro went out.
40.
I'm back on Playboy.
He would have been 40 in 48 in 2016 if he was 38 in 2006. So that dude's, what is he now? 2016 to now would be, my brain doesn't work. I can't think of it. How old would he be? Anyway.
I don't know. I'm just letting you all do the math
He'd be
today.
50 something. And so probably Playboy now. Or maybe he's still trying to get a PS3 and he'd write the same letter. I don't know.
Still searching for an Xbox.
Still
360.
looking, yeah. Still feels like the guy with nothing but chapstick on his lips. That was a weird
I got
thing.
I got an AFK BRB.
Oh, Tom. Why can't I say names?
Everybody on the show, real quick. Bo's
gonna
leaving.
pee.
He's taking a break. Everybody get on the show.
Yeah, everyone get on the show. Bo's peeing. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'll pause everything.
And someone else takes it to mean that we're shitting on the other thing,
Yeah.
and we're not.
Yeah.
No, we never do. So they all need to knock that off because you're all acting like the same people have acted for 1,000 years, and that's never going to end. It's always going to be
We have
that
to
way.
grow as people. We need to
Let us grow as people as we come back to the show now. Hi, everybody. We're back. Let's dive into this week in gaming. Okay, what we played. Scott played Shipbreaker. It's out of early access. It's also on Game Pass. Happened on Tuesday. And after a little bit of weirdness in the morning where it disappeared from Steam altogether, wasn't even in my library, and then came back and they knew about it. They worked it out, whatever was going on. Something Valve did. Anyway, it's great. It's out of early access. That means no more resets. All my progression is happening, and I'm loving it. I just hit level 8 today. Disassembling ships and loving every second of it. I think the story is actually better than I thought it was going to be. Maybe partly because they replaced all the holder audio. They had just like office people or devs do audio bits in the early access version of the game, and it was fine, but it was clearly amateur and not, professional. They replaced all of that at launch with its final patch, and they're all real voice actors now. And they all sound great, and that's really helped the story stick with me a little bit more. But the important part of that game, which is, ripping ships apart and not having things explode on you and make as much money as you can and throw giant chunks of stuff into incinerators and float in outer space and all that, that's all there. It's great. I love that game. This is not a shock to anyone. Shipbreaker is finally a legitimate out of early access game, and it's great. I love it. Rogue Legacy 2, played a bunch more of that. That game continues to surprise me with weird stuff. Like, I thought I'd kind of seen all you needed to see, and then I ran into this girl who said, I can lock some of these portals so they're always there for you. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, it only costs you like 1,200 gold, but if you do that, this portal to this zone that you normally have to hunt around and find, we'll just make it available to you immediately. So if you want to skip everything else and just come straight here now, you can do that. So it was a very cool little moment and a little bit of a story bit. And so I'm seeing biomes I've never seen before in a way that I didn't expect to. I got a rune that lets me, oh geez, I forgot what it let me do. Something real good. I can't remember, but it's a thing that lets me go to places kind of very Castlevania like, oh, now I can go a place I couldn't go before. Thing happened, and it's great. I love that game.
Okay, like it unlocks places where you can't previously access.
Couldn't usually get. And Rogue Legacy 2 is so good. Gosh dang those guys. Talk about getting it right for your sequel. These guys really knocked it out of the park for me. Also a bunch more House Flipper, the DLC with the pets and the whatnot there. Just got all wrapped up into that and playing that again because that game's great. But we've talked about it enough so you don't have to hear it. So again, that's Shipbreaker, Rogue Legacy 2, and House Flipper. And finally, this week I wanted to tell John about a Square Enix game that I played.
What?
Yep.
You finally decided to play Final Fantasy XIV, the hit MMO, sweeping the world.
Nope, that's not the one. Give it another guess. What do you think it was, if you had to guess?
Final Fantasy VI. You talked about playing that.
I did buy it, but I haven't played it yet. I own it. Not it. I'll tell you, it's not Final Fantasy at all. I can tell you that.
Okay. One of the Tomb Raider games.
Nope, none of those. None of the Western
about Tomb
games.
Raider.
Nope.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Some sort of shitty mobile game.
No, it is. It's on Steam. I'm sure it's in other places, but the version I'm playing is on Steam. I got it on sale. I'll give you a hint. Steam had a racing game sale, and there's been a game I've been wanting to try out for a while that Square Enix makes. Does that help you? No.
They made a racing game?
They did.
I guess I look right over the top of racing games, apparently. I'll tell you, you're never going to get it. It's a game called Circuit Superstars. No, definitely didn't. Those are words I don't recognize together.
Circuit Superstars. This is a game from Square Enix as the publisher, and it was a game I noticed a long time ago and they actually did an early access run for it. I didn't play it then, but I remember it just kind of jumping out at me because it's kind of chibi looking drivers and big, bubbly cars, but it's kind of top down. And what everybody at the time was saying about it was these races are like kind of realistic. Like it's not cartoon racing. It looks cartoony, but the actual racing has got some skill to it and some real nuance and easy to get into, hard to master kind of stuff. A lot of physics and drifting and stuff, and different kinds of races, off-road, street, all this sort of thing. And you do these big Grand Prix.
Tell me more about the Grand Prix. I've never been into racing until just this moment, and suddenly I'm compelled.
It was my favorite casino in Vegas, the Grand Prix. Anyway, it's
what Bo calls his Steam Deck.
It's
I like to play the Grand Prix on my Steam Deck.
On your Steam Deck, yeah. Oh, I saw somebody made a video today of a Steam Deck playing on a Steam Deck, which sounds crazy, but basically he was using the Steam Deck to play on, but was routing everything to another Steam Deck. I don't know what it was. I have to find it. It's really weird. I'll find it and put it in our Slack later. But
yeah, definitely that sounds weird.
Really Inception-y. Anyway,
so this game, what's it called? Circuit Superstars?
You made me forget it. Circuit
Superstars.
Yeah, Circuit Superstars.
This looks sweet, dude.
It is. It's really good. It's graphically really nice. Again, top down. It reminds me of the kind of old school racing games where
there used to be one. I can't remember if it was Atari or even on Nintendo. Grand Prix on Atari, maybe.
Yeah.
Just top down and you circle around like.
Yeah.
This looks cool. Actually,
it's pretty good. It's if you like just sort of pure racing, like let's just go and race. You know what it reminds me of a little bit is Micro Machines.
Yeah.
Except it's a lot more. The racing is way more serious. Like they're not trying to make it seem you're not, racing in backyards or somebody's living room or any of that stuff. Like you're legit racing on tracks, and those tracks are, tricky, and the way your car drives is you got to get kind of used to it and tap the brake just barely when you're doing this turn, and keep control over your drifts, and don't go too far into the fence, and blah blah blah. And they have time trials, and they have like full blown races with other AI controlled players. There's a multiplayer mode as well. I haven't tried that yet, but you can have online races. Anyway, it's a very weird thing for Square to even have, and I really like it. And it was cheap. It was like $12, so I picked it up, and I quite like it. So kind of a Zen mode racing game. I liked it a lot. Had a lot of fun with it.
I wish listed it. It looks interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool.
It's pretty good. All right, John.
But while we're on racing, though,
Yeah.
before you move on, there's a game I recommend. And not that I've played it, but it came to my attention as a fellow Quest owner. A game called Omega Pilot, which is VR Wipeout.
Ooh.
That's how it's billed. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't talk about it, but I did wishlist it because it does look interesting.
I want to see this. Let's
If you
see.
go just take a look on it. It's on Steam. It's like an early access game, but it definitely has these. You're a floating vehicle. It's very roller coastery, 360. It just looks kind of sweet, honestly.
It reminds me of Redout, which is also like a Wipeout thing, but I don't know if that's VR or not. But this looks cool. Let's see. I'm a huge Wipeout fan, like gigantic fan. I used to love it. I still listen to the music now, like all the time. I'll play playlists of Wipeout music. Oh yeah, look at this. You're in the cockpit.
Yeah, you're in the cockpit. And, it's like there's sort of you're bordered inside of the race, but then you can go when you turn, you can tilt, right, like the full way. So it's like it's got trippy areas of track and stuff like that. It just looks really neat. And when you're in VR, like maybe you're watching the video and you're like, I don't know, but then when you're in VR, you're like, whoa, the sense of motion is really enveloping.
Yeah,
I really like Squadrons for that, Star Wars Squadrons. So this just looks. I know you're a big Wipeout fan, so this looks about as Wipeout as you can get in VR right now.
yeah,
so
definitely.
I wishlisted this. I just thought you should know.
I have to check it out. It's on Steam as well, or where is this? Did you say?
I see it on Steam. Yeah, it's on
Okay.
early access on Steam. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. I love that.
that's pretty
I'm all about more Wipeout. I wish Sony would do something new. Love Wipeout. All right. What else? That's it for me, John. You didn't play a lot this week, but
No, I really didn't. I didn't have time to play much of anything. So
What did
I
you
don't-
stream? I saw you stream this week. Did you
Yeah, I
stream?
did. So I didn't really play anything new, and I don't have too much to say about the things I did. But really quick, I have continued streaming my playthrough of Final Fantasy VII.
yeah.
That continues to be really good. Again, especially with mods.
Where are you at?
I just got to. I think I'm making my way to the Gold Saucer. The save place I was in literally said Gold Saucer area, so I did Costa del Sol and then went through a mountain, and now I'm heading that way, and it's good. I really like that game a lot. Like I said, I highly recommend the mods. I've had a couple people reach out and ask what mods I'm using. If you look up any of the VODs on YouTube, I do list them in my YouTube VOD, so just look for Craftless Rogue on YouTube. You can find them there if you are curious and want to give them a try. But yeah, that game, don't have anything new to say. It's fun. I'm having a good time with it. It's definitely, after the Pixel remasters, it's been an odd change of pace that has definitely taken some getting used to, because I can't speed up battles. I think the encounter rate of Final Fantasy VII is a little high in a bad way, and I don't particularly like it. But overall, I think the game is very, very good. And then I also played last night a little bit of Vampire Survivors, which got a new patch. And the thing I really like about this patch is usually when they do a new patch, you can get a pretty good idea of what they've added to it. You go to the unlocks, you scroll down, you look for what's missing, you do the things they tell you to do, and you're golden. This one adds in some more mysterious things where, like, there's weird stuff that might happen on particular stages depending on what you've picked up. There's you can get items that show you new things on the map that maybe you didn't know were there before. There's actually new items that are hidden in the game, not listed as unlocks, that are basically pickups designed to make you into a Reaper killer if you want to kill the Grim Reaper and unlock that character. So there's some really cool things like tucked away in this one that aren't as forward facing as a lot of their other updates have been, where it's just been, we added a dog. And the dog the dog comes with a new weapon. Like, it's not as straightforward as that, and it's been pretty fun, and it definitely alludes to some more mysterious, like, behind the scenes things that are happening in the game. So I've gotten some cool new items. There's new characters to unlock that are, again, very secret characters depending on what you get. So I actually think it's a really, really cool update, despite on the surface looking like kind of a generic one that just added a new bonus stage. I think there's actually a lot of really neat stuff in there. So that's
quick note on that.
Game Pass.
The Game Pass version of the game. So I didn't tell you this, but last week I decided this would be a good opportunity to see what the update cadence is on Steam versus something like Game Pass now that it's on Game Pass, because there are a few early access, they call them preview versions, but early access versions on Game Pass of various games, and I was never sure if updates were day and date on everything, and sure enough, they're both getting them at the same time on that game. I can't speak to all games, but Vampire Slayers is getting Slayer is getting an update the minute it hits Steam. It's also on Game Pass, so that's good.
Yeah, I think there are a few games that will let you do beta updates on Steam, and Game Pass, as far as I know, does not allow you to opt into any sort of beta updates. So I don't think you get that, but I do think overall they're updated roughly at the same time for official updates.
Yeah.
So it's really good. I feel like I've said all there is to say about that game, but it is a game that I keep checking in with as soon as they add new content, because I do look for new excuses to go in and try old stages. I am really excited though that one of the new achievements that they put into a game, kind of going back to this idea of like what makes a good achievement, what makes a bad achievement. One of the new things they put in there was you had to survive 30 to 31 minutes on the 4th stage. And the thing that's tricky about that is, whereas most stages, when you hit the 30-minute mark, they send in the Grim Reaper and he kills you.
Yeah.
There are ways to get around the Grim Reaper killing you. You can either try and kill him, or you can try and survive him. And you just have to make it an extra minute. On that last stage, however, not only do you have to deal with the Grim Reaper, but they also detonate a bunch of traps under your character that explode at the same time as the Grim Reaper coming after you. And so it was a very fun puzzle to try and solve this. Okay, how do I survive in this case? Because it's not enough to just cheese the Grim Reaper and kill him, or find a glitch spot where, I can utilize a character's ability and not level up through, most of the 30 minutes and then have a weak Grim Reaper come out at me. There was really a lot of effort I had to put into it, and I think they actually intend you to use the Reaper killing items to do this, but I found an alternative way to do it, and I felt very rewarded and very excited that I found a way to do this. And that was a fun puzzle to figure out. So I love those layers that they're putting in on this game, and just continuing to have a blast with it.
That's great.
They also put a new thing to spend money on, which is good, because I did find it ironic that they put in an upgrade that gets you a lot more gold at a time where everybody had purchased all the upgrades. So now there are other things you can spend money on in the game, which is
in-game money.
Fake in-game money, not real money, but your gold that you earn. Because they had an upgrade tree that eventually you max out, and then your gold's just going to accumulate. You aren't going to spend it on anything. So now they have a shopkeeper that basically you can unlock the ability for him to appear in stages, and he will sell you the rare, like, not likely to appear weapons if you want to do a build around like cherry bombs or the bone or the minecart.
Gotcha.
He gives you a way to buy that using your gold if you want to do a build around it without having to rely on RNG.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, good. That game, I don't know, such a weird game. such a weird, like, viral, tiny, ugly game. You know, I love it though. I love that games can do this. Yeah,
it's
one of my
really,
favorite
really
things.
good.
Bo, StarCraft. You played StarCraft. What's that about? What's going on there?
Well, I wasn't sure what to play.
Yeah.
I have all these games I could be playing, but I just didn't feel like any. You know, when you're just like,
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
definitely know that
So
feeling.
on a lark, I was playing lots of Heroes of the Storm the past week, and so on a lark, I was like, Co-op Commanders was fun. It's been a long time since I played it. Let me just play a round or two, and then it's turned into like an obsession over the past week. I've
Who are you
played
playing?
every
Who are you
day.
co-oping with, or are you?
Just randos. There's amazingly, and never wait more than 20 seconds for a game. Like there's the queue is there's always someone willing to co-op with you. I played a bit with a few viewers as well, but Tweep and the Path, the people in my Twitch chat who joined me, so it's just pretty easy for them. But for the most part, it's randos, and it StarCraft. So I mentioned last week, it's like, yeah, all these games are great, but I like games that I can be good at, and part of the appeal to playing StarCraft is like, I don't really want to go through the campaign, and I don't feel like doing PvP because I'm definitely get owned. It's just too stressful. I'm just not. It's just not my jam. But I appreciate watching it. Co-op Commanders lets me like practice my build order and making decisions and doing all that. You know, like every match, it's fun. And now they have talents, so you have to prestige your character, get them to 15, then reset them back to level 1, and grind them back up to 15, and you get a modification on the way you play. Like for Raynor, the first talent is you get double health for biological units, but there's a disadvantage too. They cost 30% more, something like that. So, yeah, so there's ways to modify your gameplay experience by leveling them up again. And so I did that with Raynor, and then I was like, let me try playing Zeratul because he's considered to be a higher tier commander, and then I could do. They now have mythic levels for the game, Mythic Plus and WoW. So they have brutal levels where you can go up to like brutal plus 10 or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to start cranking up difficulty. Maybe I play with a good hero, not with a crappy one. And so I've been learning Zeratul. And each commander has their own way of working and their own modifications and tricks you learn with them. And it's just, I keep being like, I want to play another one. I just wish there's already a lot of levels, but I wish there were more levels. Like I'm playing Dead of Night like it's 2002 or whatever year that game came out, 2006. Like that level's still in there from original Wings of Liberty campaign and the Co-op Commander.
2010, but yeah.
2010? Okay, so 12-year-old Matt.
Yeah.
But the game is fun, and you're playing with someone, and the person you play with, people you play with usually know what they're doing. And yeah, it's great. Like it's one of my favorite game things to do. Like Co-op Commanders is awesome. So yeah, I've been playing a ton of that.
That's great.
Happy to play with either one of you if you want to get in there and do some Co-op Commanders.
I do love Co-op Commanders. Scott, you got to try it. It is better. It's better than anything else that's in StarCraft 2.
I have no doubt. I've gotten so burned out on RTSs that that's what holds me back. But I don't know. I should play with you guys because that'd be fun.
But it's StarCraft. You can play as Raynor and get your space, do a Marine Ball, and it's fun.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Nice.
I enjoy it.
Nice.
So I have all these modern games, all this stuff, big new rig, and all I'm doing is playing StarCraft Co-op Commanders because it's fun.
Yeah. Well, look, you're playing it better than you ever could have before. And so there's something there,
True.
I guess.
Yeah, I was able to stream it and I'm able to watch other things. That's the other thing too. Is a lot of games are demanding on your attention, and sometimes what I like about esports games in particular is you can throw in a podcast. I'm like, I don't have to hear the voice lines. I don't got to pay attention to narrative and miss something.
Right.
Sound cues. Like I know what's going on, so I can watch some TV or some YouTube, listen to a podcast, and play the game. And that's like a relaxing evening for me.
So I do a Shipbreaker, same thing. I watch
Yeah.
old episodes of like Fall Guy while I play Shipbreaker.
Yeah, there are games that are really just good for that multitasking mode, and there are games that aren't. So I don't want to play Solasta because I want to be involved when I play Solasta, or if I'm going to play Death Stranding, I can't like watch TV while I'm playing Death Stranding.
No, well,
I'm assuming you can,
yeah,
but not at first when you're learning. Like maybe eventually you're like, okay, I'm walking across tundra again.
Yeah. Maybe the director's cut's got a little TV off to the side of your gear where Hideo Kojima tells you stories, reads you little bedtime stories while you do it.
Maybe one of these days they'll have a game where you can the character will turn on YouTube while you're shooting guys. Like on one hand you'll have YouTube and you
That's great.
Core on your YouTube handheld, and then you're shooting in the other one, just all on one screen.
Yeah, why not? Let's combine these things, you guys.
Lean into it.
Yep.
The other thing I played though, which is new, is it's a mobile game. Welcome to the future where mobile gaming is PC gaming. Is a game called Catalyst Black.
Catalyst Black? Did I hear that right?
Catalyst Black. Now the way this came to my attention is Lashes tweeted out that this game was released, and congratulations to her significant other Kyle and Kevin Johnson. Kyle Dates and Kevin Johnson on the release of this game. And I was like, oh, I really like Kyle. We met during the Heroes 2.0 thing, and we talked over BlizzCon a couple times. He's a really nice guy. He was the hero designer for Heroes of the Storm. So that's how we know him. So he's not a Blizzard anymore. He's working for Super Evil Megacorp.
Yeah,
and they're making a mobile game. It's a great company name.
Yeah,
and Kevin Johnson was like the face of, hi, I'm here to announce your game. Like,
he's the voice, right? The voice guy. Yeah.
So those guys are at Super Evil Megacorp, and this is the product they released. I'm assuming it's a small team. So I was like, I'm going to give that a spin. Congrats on the release, and it's a 5. So there's a lot of different game modes, but essentially it's a twin stick shooter MOBA. So instead of having fantasy characters with abilities, you control with the left stick, you shoot with the right stick, and you can catalyze into a giant super creature periodically. And you got all these guns. You got shooting guns, sniper rifles, flamethrowers, blah 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 blah. And it's just kind of fun. It's casual, but it plays really well, and I actually really enjoy it. And the matches are like 3 minutes, 3 to 5. Like, it's very quick. It has PvE modes. It's a great game, and I want to give them a little bump because they were great on the Heroes team.
This looks awesome,
and it's a great mobile. It's a good mobile game. I'm like, I lost some sleep over this thing. I had a hard time putting the phone down.
You know what you had me at? You had me at dual stick. I'm a huge fan of that kind of gameplay.
Sticky, like right stick, you point in the direction you want to shoot, it shoots, and then the other stick you move around. That's
I love
the basis of it.
Big fan of that.
The one thing I will say is, as a criticism, it is still a gacha game. I don't have all the guns.
Yeah.
I gotta earn free loot boxes to get guns or to get duplicates to level up the guns. It's like Genshin Impact to the nines. Yeah. I don't like it, but I'm starting to just tap out where I'm like, I'm never gonna have anything nice to say about a video game ever again, even though I like it. But the stuff under the hood, the actual game itself, I could focus on and say it's quite a lot of fun. So yeah,
I'm downloading this now. I'm going to try it on the Backbone because where I have actual sticks.
Oh, you might own everyone on the Backbone.
Yeah,
damn.
That's the goal. Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't even know this was a thing. I had no idea this was being made. This is great.
I had no idea either. And fair enough. Like this is the point we made last week, where it's like you release Heroes of the Storm and IGN gives it a 6.5. Everyone says it's not League of Legends. It sucks. You release Catalyst Black, and no one knows. But tons of people are playing it. Like there's tons of people in there playing. No wait for a match of any kind, and I'm sure they're making tons of money. So it's just like this is I'm sure this game is going to be successful for them. I wish them the best on it. Anyways,
downloading it right now. I'm going to play that tonight a little bit. I think that looks really cool.
Just don't wait too late before bed. You might actually find it's enjoyable instead of too late playing it. So.
You know what I really dig? The art style. Art style's great.
It's got great art style. It's still like a new release. There's still some, like my games have dropped here and there, and the client has cut out, so it's a bit buggy. But I'm sure that stuff will get patched out over time. Overall, the gameplay is great. It's fun. It's very casual, quick in and out games, real quick.
Super Evil Megacorp is an amazing.
And it's always a great feeling when you get into a game on the day of launch and a whole bunch of noobs are in there. And I can't tell how many are bots, but like my first game, I went like 25 kills and 0. Then I went 37 kills and 1. Then I went like 18 kills. I'm just like, I'm owning face in this game so hard. But now I've gotten to a point where I'm up against better opponents, so it's not quite as a stomp. But that first hour getting into a PvP game and you're just owning is always a good feeling for me. The other thing I will say too is the mode I'm enjoying the most is called Hydra. You don't start right away. They unlock the modes progressively as you get account level. Hydra is basically where you have to turn in shard. There's 3 different ways to win. If everyone on a team dies 3 times, that's a Paragon victory. If you turn in more shards than the other team, up to 20, then you get a shard victory, a shard victory. And both teams have an overseer, and so if whoever kills the opponent's team's overseer wins. So it's kind of like there's a lot of different things going on all at once on the map, potential ways to lose or to win. And you're playing with a bunch of mobile bros and sisses on there, so it's chaotic and no one's really doing a strategy. Sometimes you just get owned by people who are clearly in a party, but it's fun.
Well,
it's a fun little game.
I think I'm going to play it. I'm downloading it now. I'm going to try it on the Backbone. I'll report next week how it plays on here.
Sweet.
I love this thing. So anytime I have an excuse to pull it out. John, you should play it. Sounds like a fun mobile game for John to play.
No.
X-Heroes devs, man.
Yeah, I like them. Make a game that doesn't have gotcha crap elements in it, and I'll play it 100%.
It's a fair point. It is annoying that I can't try all of the guns because I don't have them, and it's like I got to earn them.
Yeah, but your Marvel slap or snap is going to be.
I don't know that yet. Bo has now told me that it's there. And when Marvel Snap starts draining money from me, I will come on the show and go, well, guys, I really wanted to like it. I think they have a cool thing there. But it has this X annoying feature, and I'm not going to play it because people seem incapable of making a good mobile game without it being a bunch of bullshit tied to it.
Yeah.
So
I love those guys.
Sure.
I would love to support those guys, but I'm not going to play a game that throws up a barrier until I throw money at them.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe they'll surprise us, but I feel like there's a good chance we'll be hearing the same thing in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Or as soon as I don't know what the time.
Well, I don't know when it's out, but because they're clearly going to release more there'll be 4 sets a year or something ridiculous, so you'd be constantly behind and having to buy packs.
Yeah, maybe they'll call it Guncha game, and then
I know it's very easy looking at their website to tell that they are definitely going to be leaning into some form of monetization for different card styles, because you can see here's Captain Marvel in an 8-bit style. Here's Captain Marvel being drawn by Scotty Young. Here's Captain Marvel in a retro style. You're getting, they have the same cards, same features, same abilities in a bunch of different styles. So it definitely looks like there's going to be some element of either, I don't know if that's collecting. I don't know if they're going to just sell packs that you have to buy. I don't know what it is, but I have a very simple policy. I am willing to spend usually up to $50 on a mobile game. And if I don't feel like that $50 unlocks a complete, consistently fulfilling gameplay experience, then I think your game is bullshit.
Yeah.
So I will give Marvel Snap the same opportunity. I'm not so... there's so many people that are like, oh, I had to spend money on this game. Yeah, you should have to spend money on a game. There shouldn't be a thing where it's a game that's just free and a bunch of people worked on something and gave it to you out of the kindness of their heart. You should have to spend money. But if that game takes more than $30, $50 from you, which is what we all associate as the cost of the game, and then goes, no, more for a subpar experience, that's bullshit. That you shouldn't have to do. So that's, for me, where I draw my line. And I think that's a pretty easy to understand and clear line. And it sounds like it doesn't sound like I'm going to get that experience from this game, much as I might like the people working on it.
Right, so
if Bo made an amazing gotcha game, I'd still be like, all right, cool, Bo, I'm not going to play it. Doesn't matter how much I like the people playing it. If it's predatory, trying to get money,
which is why I brought it up. Which is why I brought it up as a fair warning to everyone. So if you have a problem, I definitely do. I'm not going to be hypocritical about it, but it's still. I guess when I play it, I'm like, oh, this would be great. Someone get inspired and make a non-freemium version of this game or something.
Sure.
And I think Amazing Samurai in the chat brings up a good point. Most mobile devs are in a hard spot. Most people don't want to pay for games. Most people hate free-to-play mechanics. Lose. I agree. But guess what? That's not my problem as a consumer. That's their problem as a dev to solve.
Yeah. but they also don't see it as much of a problem because a lot of people are paying it.
They end up making money. Yeah.
Yeah, they're making shit tons of money. If they weren't making that money, that scratch, that green, we wouldn't have to worry so much. I don't know. I decided to go and do all those ways of saying that green.
Listening to the new Kendrick Lamar
Some
album.
of that cheddar.
Some of that green.
Yeah, that sweet, sweet cheddar. All right. Well done, everyone. On that front, it's now time for this.
That's a good question.
Quick email from Eric. He sent his email to talktothecore@gmail.com. That's talktothecore@gmail.com. You're all encouraged to do that as often as you like. Hello, Core crew. Great show. Love it every week. I wanted to tell Bo that he has convinced me that with his first VR experiences that I needed to try the Oculus Quest 2, and I love it. VR is such a different experience from regular gaming that even the most basic VR experiences have something different to offer. Once I got past figuring out how to use my glasses and the VR goggles, it was awesome. I hate that I can't convey how amazing it is to someone watching my gameplay. My wife watched me the other day and was like, meh, boring, whatever. I wanted to warn you, Bo, never upgrade to Windows 11, at least for now.
That was a real quick backpedal on the never.
Yeah.
Never do it for now.
For now, yeah. Oculus Link, Air Link, and the Steam VR games only work on Windows 10. Windows 11 won't even...
Oh, shit. That's good to know.
Yeah, won't even install the Oculus PC application. As soon as you upgrade, you lose VR capabilities. Meta has known about this for a while, but has been dragging their feet to get a fix out. Thanks for the great show. Look forward to it every week, Eric. So apparently,
Nice.
man, has it been that long since I tried the Airlink or Cable Link? It must have been, but I have 11 now and I haven't tried it, but I guess that's a no-no. So
yeah, no, that's rough business, man. I need that link.
Ziggurat says he's using Windows 11 and they all work fine for him. So
yeah, I'm seeing multiple people saying it's working for them on Windows 11. So
so far everyone is. All right, so
yeah, literally everybody has said that it works fine.
They have an Oculus Quest 2 and they're able to Oculus Link it.
Yep,
no problem.
Sounds like it. So Eric, maybe something up on your end, dude.
Well, he probably got it from a site that had their information wrong. Unless you tried it firsthand, maybe there's a technical issue.
Yeah, that's something to look into. But
maybe it was true. Like
thanks to the person who said I don't have one, but just want to join in and say it works. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that gives us the full gamut there. We got everybody's opinion.
Yeah, Quest is the future. I really wanted to play some Quest games, or Quest, like VR is the future. I really wanted to play some Quest games this week, but all I have are like stand up and swing at things, and I'm sort of
pooped on that.
I need a break from hitting my hand on things and never knowing where, like opening my helmet up and finding I'm in a different direction than I thought I was, and I'm about to break something. It's like actually stressful.
Yeah.
So I want like some good sit down games, and I spent my budget. Next month there'll be some new expenditures, so I need some games I can sit down and play on the Quest, or some apps or some experiences. Yeah. I tried VR Chat, and VR Chat's very like, I just don't get it. It makes me feel old. Where I'm like, I hear kids talking. They're like, N-word, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like,
I know.
Is there anything
it's kind
interesting
of a
happening in VR Chat, or is it just like people saying random shit?
Well, don't use that one. Use well, not that you need to use any of them, but the one Meta makes. What's it called? Horizon Worlds is their thing, and it's a little less that way, a lot less that way actually.
Yeah, it would be cool to hang out in because it's weird. Like if I was to get on a Discord with people, I feel awkward, but I feel protected if I just kept my mic off. But you have an avatar in these spaces, so you can be messed with in various ways. Even if you just decide not to say something, someone will go up to you and be like, "I'm picking your ear off your face," and it's like, leave me alone. Like stuff. So it's like there's this weird space dynamic to it, and I just want to be somewhere where I can feel a little comfortable. People are gonna be chill and not be kids about it, right? Like that it's it's just like, and like VR Chat too, there's this weird thing where like there's some pretty young girl avatars in there, and I'm never sure if it's weird dudes or not. I just don't feel very comfortable in here.
I know it's
always
the same.
assume it's weird dudes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like, I'm in pedophile world and not in VR Chat, and I'm like, I don't like this place like at all. Like,
Yeah,
this is not.
This happened to me in a
weird
virtual bar. I don't remember what app I was using, but I was in a virtual bar, and Carter was on her. She has old Quest 1, and we were in there together because we were just seeing what this world was like. We're walking around, the people going, yeah, wood, dancing, yeah, making stupid sounds down on the dance floor. And I got down closer, and these people were drunk. I could tell they were drunk in real life. And I don't know where they all were, but one of them kept trying to virtually grope the girl in there. And the way it was set up is you couldn't pass through each other like in World of Warcraft or, Final Fantasy, where you clip through everybody.
Oh, okay. There's collision box.
There was collision, yeah. So they kept colliding, so she couldn't get out of there. And yes, there's a button you can hit that immediately makes everybody else disappear, and you can just go. But I don't know if she knew about that or whatever. And it just sounded like she was having a bad time and felt really uncomfortable. And I just this is no good. So I reported it.
Awful.
I reported it, and I said, yeah, this is probably, you don't want this. And they don't, but it was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
There's this part of VR where I'm a little nervous about that angle on it, because people are douchebags, and they're finding this is a new place for them to be a huge douche without any consequences.
I don't want to interact with people in the real world, so I definitely don't want to interact with people virtually.
Yeah, but you would interact with people at Nerdtacular, right? Like, I think that's the thing is, like, I want an online space. I just want it where, the chill people are, right? Like, I guess just knowing where those are is important, like finding those.
Yeah.
Because I would go hang out in a virtual club, like, to socialize with people. Like, it's cool, it's fun. I am not interested in the kid exploration of the VR world. That's a different.
A lot of kids using their parents'
the weirdos
headsets.
you're talking about too, where they might be trolling around and stuff.
Yeah,
like
there was one lady. It was a lady, because I heard her voice, who was dressed like a dude in the game, and this was in Horizon Worlds, where you don't have the lower half of your body; you're just a floating torso. And they floated up to me and went, "Frog pants? That's weird. You're not even wearing pants." And just looked at me, and I was like, I don't want to be in here. This is the worst. I'm just gonna leave now.
Summed up almost every social interaction.
Maybe we need to do this
life.
together. What we need to do is we need to do this together. Like, we need to be together so that we can have strength and be mutual support.
Yeah, and be dorks. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Like, and that way, when someone weird comes around, we can all turn it around on them and be like, "Please leave us alone." Like, and just figure out strategy. Like, I'm sure there's strategies. It's a world I'm not very well prepared for.
Yeah.
I also because the reason I got excited about VR chat is I learned that I think you can't just do it on the Quest exclusive, but you can get a Clone Wars era Anakin Skywalker avatar.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to be Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker. I want to be cartoon. Like, that's cool. Like, oh shit. So like there's fun to be had that isn't like weird either kid shit or pedo shit that I really want to do.
Yeah.
And I just can't figure it out. So there's not much in the way. The point being, there's not much in the way of sit down VR apps. So I haven't really been playing with it too much. I'm just like, I can log into. I've watched roller coaster videos. I just didn't bring it up in the gaming thing, but I was like, the roller coaster videos are pretty sweet.
They're fun. Yeah, they're fun.
They're
I like
they're
those.
kind of low res. Like, they really need to, like, that TV section of Oculus. Like, it's kind of a ghost town. Like, they've made content for a while and left it alone. Like, they need to update their quality of their content there.
Yeah, I agree.
But
some pretty good stuff on YouTube. 360 video on YouTube's gotten better.
I like side by side video. I don't like 360 video, because 360 video is just flat where you can look everywhere.
Yeah.
The coolest thing I saw is they did side by side video for the International Space Station.
Yeah.
For NASA did, and that is awesome, because like you actually feel like the astronauts are like right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, so you're seeing them float in all these different directions, and you see the Earth. Those videos are great. There's one in particular that's really good. Some of them are boring and not great, but like those International Space Station videos are pretty good.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend those. But apart from that, everything's like there's a Deadpool one that is like it is so low res. It is so blotchy and embarrassing. It's from the first. It's marketing from the first Deadpool, and it's like sit in the cab with the Ravinder or whoever his name is, and you're like, okay, but it is so poor quality. Like, it looks like video from 1992 era internet,
Really?
1999 era internet. And you're just
like postage stamp Sega CD looking video.
It's so bad, and VR doesn't make that any better.
No, you're right. That part of that end of things needs to get better.
So I guess what I'm doing here is like, please ping me on Twitter if you know of good side by side content that's not porn, because I know they're doing really high quality stuff, but I want actual experiences, not that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Strange Days style, right? Like virtual tours of wherever, weird experiences, stuff like that.
Sure.
Near volcanoes, etc.
Well, more on that as we play them.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. All right. I think that's everything for today's show. Fun one today, I would say. If you had fun at home and you were like, man, I wish I could give back for this. I wish somehow this awesome content could be, I don't know, I could just show my appreciation. Good news, everybody! Patreon.com/core show is where you can go to do that. For a couple of bucks, just throw it our way. It'd be like, hey, here you go. It's almost nothing, less than anything costs these days. Less than a taco at Taco Bell. A soft taco is now over $2. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's ridiculous.
That's insane. That's
It is
wrong.
insane. It's
That's
wrong.
what I used to get, like 4 soft tacos.
Yeah. Yes. You could get a whole bag of them for $2.
That
Not
was
anymore.
why you went to Taco Bell, was so
Right.
you could buy an excess amount of food and not spend a ton of money.
That's right. 69-cent tacos or whatever they were at the time. I want that back. Well, in the meantime, the cheap option out there is to support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/core show. Will we give you diarrhea? No. So we're not as good as Taco Bell in that regard, but we're a pretty good thing, okay? So, or maybe we do give you diarrhea. I don't want to speak for people. Write in if you've had a problem.
Supposedly, bookstores make people have to poop.
Is that true? I haven't heard that. Is that the
I heard
Seinfeld
that.
thing?
I heard there's a scientific reason why bookstores make you need to poop.
Is that why? Is that why George took that book into the bathroom on that episode, and they wouldn't take it back because he'd been in the bathroom with it? Do you remember that? They made him buy it. That was a great episode.
Yeah, there's fecal matter on it for sure. Fecal particulate.
It has been exposed, I think, is what they said. Well, anyway, that's good information. I'm glad I know that now. Anyway, so yeah, that address once again, patreon.com/core show, frogpants.com/core for all the stuff you're looking for. No matter what it is, it'll be there. So worry not. Just search core on Google. You get that as well. And wherever you get your podcasts, leave us reviews. We love that. Talktothecore@gmail.com is that email address. Find us on Twitter at corepod, John_Jagger, Scott Johnson, and Bo Schwartz. It's going to do it, but we need some wisdom. Words of wisdom. Let's go around the table. John, you start.
Hi, everybody. John here. We sure had a lot of fun today talking about gacha games, mobile games, George Miller's new romantic comedy. And, at the end of the day, I just want to pose one question to you. Brontosauruses don't exist, but if they did, where would they wear their necktie?
Oh, man. I don't even know what to say about that. Real low, I guess, right? Way down? I don't know. Well, I'll have to think about this in my own time. Hey, Bo, anything to add?
I got really distracted by the question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't judge 10 years of longing by its halo, by its halo cover.
10 years of longing. That's the movie. That's the one.
Don't judge 10 years of longing by its halo cover.
By its halo cover. I think that's great advice. I hope you guys live by it. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back next week with more. Thanks for listening. Go play a game. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Reload! Reload! Danger! Danger! Machine gun! Machine gun! Continue! Continue! Game over!
Oh, man.
Why did everything have